like
Hey, in 5,
I'll stay outside.
4, 3. Yo, what the fuck is going on? It's your boy Shinobi Gaines. We back in this bitch. It's another one, Aim for the Bushes, where we basically just talk our shit.
All day, every day.
Episode 11 in this bitch, right?
Yeah, 12. Oh,
No, it's 11. It's 11. I mean, we not that far in if you forget numbers.
Shit flying by, it's crazy.
You know, as usual, Taurus in the building. Matt the Problem. We got Moan in the building. We got a special guest stopping in. Transitioning them in as smoothly as possible. A little different take on things today. But, you know, as always, we coming in from the prestigious Minneapolis, where niggas like me come through super fresh. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how to explain this shit. Got
the perfect light skin criteria, bro.
The Marc Jacob, you know what I'm saying? Top with your standard white jeans. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I feel like should have kept the hat on though.
You know what?
How do you make the word "me" sound so?
I could do this. You know what I'm saying? But I got the
yeah. Go ahead, toss that motherfucker on. Let's see what's going on.
I could do this. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the beach. It's not the beach right now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to destroy the motherfucking whole YouTube channel, like in the YouTube verse, by setting shit on fire like that.
Put a lot of pressure on yourself.
But it's just
you had to come with it
you know
every episode. You can't. You know
that's what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So like,
we're gonna see.
Just keeping it going. You know, niggas like me, fashion, everything, art. Minneapolis, prestigious, you know what I'm saying?
This is crazy though. When did this nigga become this fashion nigga? Like, never that guy ever since day one.
I got bored. I got bored. You know what I'm saying? Just start dressing.
I just want to be that fashion motherfucker now.
It ain't really a fashion thing. It's just
it's a fashion.
I'm just you know, doing my thing. I guess is really what they call it.
So what made you decide to do this all of a sudden?
He said he was bored.
Just bored?
Yeah, just saw some shit on Facebook ads or something. They got me.
He's gonna get tired of it.
But do we got anything new as far as what Minneapolis is known for? I mean, we always go through our shit. There's a long list. But I don't know. Is there anything?
A lot of lame shit. That's not worth talking
You said
about.
a lot of lame shit?
Yeah.
Nigga, y'all don't got nothing?
Nah.
Then I'm gonna have to go through the usual spiel. So, coming to you straight from Minneapolis, y'all know what it is. Home of Purple Rain, you know, Prince, you know exactly how that get down. Bob Dylan, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Mighty Ducks, George Floyd protests, justice for George Floyd with the Chauvin trial, Coen Brothers, Mayo Clinic, Best Buy, Target. All right, now y'all get it, okay?
Shit.
So, anyways. Taurus, how you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Weather's nice. Getting back outside. They fucking ended that shit. So let's see how this shit go. They said they wrapped it up. They said. So
I completely forgot about
let's see. We gotta talk about that.
They ended the mask mandate. So now niggas can't yell at you no more for. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess motherfuckers can still have it if they want to. I guess. So it's up to the businesses.
But you prepared for it either way.
What are they gonna do? What
yeah, they already said they're not gonna legally like enforce it, so they can't do shit.
What's going on with you, Matt?
Man, you know, same old. Pretty much went shopping for the kids a little bit this weekend at the mall and
had that extra money and shit on you.
Yeah, you know,
You had a few extra $100. Let me go ahead and get the kids something. That's
got a
stand-up guy right
fits,
there.
You know, some shoes.
They put that extra bread straight to the kids. Come on, man. Big time shit.
So you got them some clothes and it's back to school?
Clothes and some shoes.
No,
school's about to be over with.
I
just felt like they needed some clothes.
You got them the motherfucking Jordans for $150. The Jordans for the preschool big kids is $150 sometimes. Remember, they was $150 for the men.
I think it's grade school.
Preschool,
the size that he's wear, the size that he wear is cheaper. I got him some Jordans. They were $65 though.
Preschool?
Yeah, he's size 2.
You see what I'm wearing, nigga. I don't wear no motherfucking Jordans, nigga.
What Jordan?
Fuck's wrong with y'all? What's going on with you, man?
Chilling. You know, happy I get to hoop again outside finally.
Oh yeah,
That's what I've been
D-Rider
doing.
just tore his what did he tore?
Achilles.
His Achilles.
Yeah.
Go fuck around out there and do the same thing. He was just talking about getting it. He had a tear.
I can't be doing
He was just talking about. Was he not just talking about? I gotta get surgery.
D?
Mom.
Oh, mom.
on my knee, but that's minor shit.
Knee surgery is minor shit?
I mean,
Okay.
I can still run and jump, so.
You just gotta stay off the knees, bro. Came through without the shorts today. He actually wore some pants.
I heard motherfuckers talking.
Yeah, I feel you. We
Can't
got
do shit right here.
we gotta-
shorts is my fucking calves.
we gotta come correct. You know
Piss
what I'm
him
saying?
off more. Fuck him.
We gotta come correct, and we gotta, just keep leveling up every.
It's
That's
fuck
what this
It's
is.
not enough fucking.
You should have worn a John
Just say
Stockton
fuck
instead
him.
of ass.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe a
Whoa.
tank top.
You said a what?
That's what the John Stockton's is. He should have came in those.
The John.
Just a middle finger.
We actually call
everybody.
those the Lonzo balls now.
Oh, the Lonzos now.
Bulls.
The Lonzo balls.
It's funny as fuck.
What's up with you, bro? How you doing?
What is up with me? Shit. Thank you for asking.
No problem.
What's up with me? Nothing really. Just did a little shopping. You know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy.
You over there at Nordstrom Rack heavily now. You overdosing on Nordstrom.
Actually, I
Rack.
stepped up and went into Nordstrom's.
The actual
That's
Nordstrom's.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, Nordstrom, not Nordstrom. Because that's some like
Nordstrom
TJ Maxx
Racks
type
is
shit.
Nordstrom Racks. You trying to get maybe a pair of quick shoes real quick.
If that you fuck around and get one pair of anything.
I just start fucking with Burlington's heavy.
With Burlington,
Yeah.
this nigga
The
just
same
said
thing as
some-
Nordstrom Rack, isn't it?
Nah,
type
bro.
shit.
For jackets,
Got a lot of
maybe.
tight shit in there. Got some tight little kicks in there.
Maybe.
Scamming niggas.
I haven't really. I don't know. I haven't. It's just chill for me. It's not no new updates. I'm going to the Dominican Republic in a couple weeks. Getting ready for that. So just spending money. I ain't. Not really happy about it. Birthday coming
How
up.
long you gonna be out there?
This money ain't making you happy, my nigga.
Money
You just admitted it on camera.
doesn't make me happy. Nah. I mean that's.
Are you one of those people that believe it
Happier
doesn't
with
make you
more
happy?
money.
Am I happier with more money? No. I'm. I guess I'm more freed up.
But that equates to happiness as well.
More comfortable.
So you're one of
Money
those people.
cause you to be
No, definitely not.
I'm more freed up because you could definitely
But
be
you happy
more,
about that.
you could
Answer the
definitely be
question.
more
Are you-
stressful with more money, but
You could be.
Does money make you happy?
it doesn't.
So you're one of those people that doesn't believe money make you happy.
Money doesn't buy happiness.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Money's not a huge motivator for me, but for some reason I'm just good at getting it.
That's bullshit.
That's facts.
I'm saying money makes you
It
happy.
has to be a motivator though, right?
I think
Can't say it's
the
not a
things I want to get from with money motivate me, not the money necessarily.
But money buys you
I mean,
things
it's damn
that
near the same
make
thing.
you happy.
really.
It's exactly the same. You want to get the money.
Mm-mm. I just want to be able to do whatever I want to do.
That takes money.
Exactly.
People try to deny the part about the money and say, well, what I really want is this, but the money, you have to get the money to get the shit that you claim you want. So
Nah, it's just, like I said, for me, it's not really a ton about money. I could give a shit less, cause it comes and it goes. I ain't really tripping on it.
he one of them niggas. It's cool. I get it.
Anyways, what do we got to talk about today? We got, I wanted to kick it off with the Hall of Fame stuff. We got 2 Hall of Fame scenarios. I'm gonna let Moan actually lead with the first one. Moan and Matt, y'all still got the hooping in the heart, I think, a little bit.
It's always gonna be in the heart.
Kobe, KG, Tim Duncan, Hall of Fame. What happened?
Tamika Catchings.
Okay, what's going on with it? I didn't catch any of it. Fill me in.
Did it air on TV?
Yeah.
Oh, it did.
Yesterday.
Pull up some deets on it,
I
man.
didn't even know it. I thought it was gonna air at a later date. That's what I thought. So I didn't even try to look it up. I just seen like the little clips and shit. But I didn't know it was gonna
What
be
happened, Mo? How did it go? We had 5 inductees.
Yeah, I didn't really care about the other ones besides Tim Duncan, Kobe, and Garnett. So
Who had the best? Obviously, Kobe's not there, so we could speak on that last. But between Duncan and Kobe, I mean, speech-wise,
I feel like I like Kevin Garnett's the best.
He's definitely more I mean,
he was trying to be a little jokey with it, you know, put a little humor in it.
Did he crack any decent joints?
It was kind of awkward. Nobody laughed.
He was trying to make jokes off, and it was like,
I seen a headline where he's like his only regret was he should have went to Boston sooner.
He did say
something else.
he did say he was.
Said he regretted that he didn't bring Minneapolis a championship.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Did he say
and
that
then
too?
He said he's going to help rebuild Minneapolis.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
He said that like.
Did he say I regret
times.
that I didn't go to Boston soon?
I didn't hear that.
No, he didn't say. He just said I regret not winning a championship in Minneapolis.
Yeah, that's what
I saw a headline saying he regretted not going to the Celtics sooner.
That might have been clickbait.
I didn't
or
catch
it
that.
wasn't during a speech.
I didn't see
that.
All I saw was that clip.
You know, you can never trust the headlines. What was Tim Duncan talking about?
They got his young man shit on with his dreads and shit.
Thanking everybody.
What does he do?
Little Tim Duncan boring shit.
Just looking at him about like as
I think he's a fun
picture.
boy.
Man,
You gotta respect
Tim
him,
Duncan
I mean,
and dreads just don't go together.
I think he needed the dreads. Something he.
It makes him look edgy, but it doesn't at the same time. Makes
Like
him
he's
look
going
boring.
in
You know who
reverse.
he is. You know he's not edgy. You know?
He looks like he's terrified to speak
His
at all
whole
times.
career, he was like, I'm not.
He was like, "This is like the most nervous I've ever been."
Shit.
He said that.
Yeah. Like,
So he wasn't talking about shit. Just like I want to suck Popovich's dick
and David Robinson.
David Robinson's dick.
Who skipped a
No.
game to be there, by the way? Popovich did.
Did he?
Mm.
Yep.
You see, Pop had the long hair out and shit like a Don.
Yeah, I feel like he is a Don.
He is a Don. Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like he's been.
I
that
bet
his
y'all
whole
don't
life.
remember Rudy Tomjanovich though.
Rockets coach.
I remember him. That's the only. I just remember him.
What year was that? What year
NBA
was that?
Live.
NBA
I don't know. That had to be like the
Love the game.
2000s.
Yeah.
Of
Definitely.
course, Vanessa's
Yeah, I was gonna say let's get to
was
that.
a tearjerker.
I heard Jordan was involved with that.
Jordan just
he walked her up there.
Yeah, walked her up there and shit.
Didn't say nothing.
Not
Jordan's
really.
trying to get all in on the Kobe shine. That's how I feel.
I mean, they were close.
I don't know if they were. I mean, obviously Kobe respected him because he was Jordan.
I mean, they said they were
I mean,
like brothers.
they spoke quite a bit.
I think they
don't know.
asked him too. Like they was trying to get him. They wanted him to. I don't know if he just inserted himself.
No, Vanessa asked him to do it.
What does Jordan be? Does Jordan like elevate the Kobe situation? Does him present like bringing up Vanessa Bryant elevate
I don't.
his Hall of Fame?
I don't think there's any
Nah.
more you can do to elevate Kobe Bryant at this point,
Well, of course you're
including
gonna say
Michael
that.
Jordan.
You're gonna say that,
I mean,
but
he was an icon before he died. So
I think that was just the perfect person just to be honoring him and speaking on him. I mean, that was just like one of his top
You said that was
mentors.
his big
Clearly,
brother.
that was like his daddy. So type shit.
yeah,
You know,
well,
disrespectful. What you're saying, like
it sucked though.
I didn't. For some reason, I had no interest in watching her. Even I just wanted to hear what Kevin had to say a little bit. Obviously, the Vanessa Bryant, Kobe Bryant, like it's just still very, very sad.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Soy about this last night. Just like, damn, the fact that Soy and Donnie, the fact that he died with his daughter is just to keep thinking about that. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about it. You know what I mean? So I kind of stay away from it because it's a little sad. But
Yeah, I stopped watching Kobe highlights ever since he died. Like I used to watch that shit like every other day, just random YouTube videos of him doing like cold shit.
Still check some of them.
Now I just really don't be, wanting to look at him.
Yeah, this should be taking time, man. It's still feel like it just happened not too long ago. So.
But nonetheless, congrats to all. You know, obviously we knew Duncan and Brian and KG. It's nice that they all kind of went in
Is this
together.
the greatest Hall of Fame class ever?
I wouldn't know because I don't pay attention
It's
enough.
definitely up there.
You know, I think they had one. Iverson's was a little. It was him and
Yao
Yao.
Ming.
And Yao, I don't know about Yao.
Yeah.
He's not no Hall of Fame.
It doesn't really stand up to that.
Did you catch the new ones though? The new Hall of Fame inductees?
Oh, for next year he's on?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a
C-Web,
couple of
who else?
Chris Bosh,
It was a
Chris
little early
Bosh,
for
Chris
Bosh,
Bosh,
but okay.
Ben Wallace.
I'm cool
yeah,
with
Ben
that.
Wallace, yeah.
I'm not cool with Chris Bosh.
Not at all.
It's a little early for him.
Way too early.
It's a little early, but you know,
It's always one nigga that's like,
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not really.
this one is solid. But
I'm not
This
really
one
feeling
isn't
Ben
really
Wallace
one
as a
of
Hall
them,
of
yes.
Famer. What the fuck did
Hold
he
up,
do?
no, nigga, Ben Wallace is
Ben
a
Wallace?
G,
He's
bro.
a defender.
He's
a
a
good
G
defender.
though, bro. If Dikembe is in the Hall of Fame, he could be in the Hall of Fame.
To do what Ben did being undrafted, bro.
Yeah.
He accomplished it.
I don't want to dwell on this too long, though. Let's get to the other Hall of Fame. Taurus, I'm going to let you talk about this because I didn't even know about none of this shit was happening. So it was a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A bunch of motherfuckers got inducted. Jay-Z, LL Cool J, Tina Turner. Who else was on there? But, I mean, yeah, it was just interesting to see some of the different names on there because I was surprised to see Tina Turner just now getting inducted.
Hold up, go back up, go up. So we got Tina Turner, Carole King, The Go-Go's, Jay-Z, Foo Fighters, Gil Scott-Heron, okay. LL Cool J.
I don't know how they come up with
Avant? Or is that Clarence Avant? I don't know if there's a...
Clarence Avant. That's the Black Godfather, right? From the Netflix documentary. I think that's him.
I haven't seen that.
I don't know about this shit.
I don't know 75% of these niggas up here.
Well, you know who the Foo Fighters is. You've heard that. You've heard Tina Turner. You've heard Jay-Z. You've heard LL. Gil Scott-Heron. I think he's from here, ain't he?
I don't think so.
Or he had something to do with auto-tune. I think he had something to do with auto-tune, right? Or am I mixing my shit up? Or is he a poet?
So.
He's a poet?
One of them poetic niggas.
Oh, okay.
Kanye sampled him on
Chicago
songs and shit like that.
Not too far away.
Close enough.
Excuse me.
How y'all feel about these couple of inductees, Tina Turner, Jay-Z?
Well, Tina Turner definitely should have been in
there.
Yeah,
that feels way overdue.
She's like 75 now, so
how does this
she might fuck around and be 80.
How does it work?
LL Cool J is probably a bit late too.
Is there criteria for it or what? I mean,
I think
it's from what I understand, they had to be active in the game for 25 years.
Okay.
To be able to be.
A lot of people don't make it that long, so.
Right.
That's true. So there's a lot of people right now that.
Tupac was an exception.
Yeah.
Well, you know. Yeah.
I mean, his legacy lived definitely longer than 25 years.
He made 25 years worth of fucking albums.
I don't know. I guess I don't really care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's something that I never really paid attention to. I know as an artist, though, it's probably a big deal.
Yeah.
It's more for the artists, just like the Grammys, you know. I guess it's like the Grammys are like a clout token for artists, you know what I'm saying?
And that's kind of where I wanted to discuss a little bit is like how these artists value these certain awards. The Grammys is like the one, but niggas don't really give a fuck about the BET or
Video Music
NAACP.
It changes though, because I think the MTV Awards used to be a real big thing.
Yeah.
But nobody really gives a fuck about it. So
I feel like nobody really gives a fuck about awards, period.
BET, unless it's the Grammys.
People are starting. Well, they're not running the shit right.
Even half the people don't care about the Grammys anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because
the artists
that's
don't
not
care.
true. They really like. I got snubbed and they mad and shit.
No, yeah, people still do care.
They give a fuck.
But they be snubbing people on purpose just to keep that passion up there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's definitely like some deliberate shit.
They have been fucking up a little bit, and I think once artists get to a certain level, they be like, "Hold on, you're not gonna play me, nigga. This some bullshit. I'll just I'll discredit your shit right now." You know, and then everybody just be like, "Oh, fuck the Grammys," you know. And Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is obviously a bit different, but it's not like awards. It's more like your Hall of Fame, you know.
Yeah,
keep that.
I feel like
I guess it's good to be in a Hall of Fame somewhere. Can say that.
At the end of the day, what did we do this for, though? Was we facilitating growth, or was we doing it for fame?
Talk that shit.
Talk that shit.
How'd y'all feel about that bar, though?
That's the shit right there.
I mean, the Hall of Fame, I mean, it's Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? So we're talking about fame here.
On top of that, it's rock and roll, too.
Rock and roll is, I think, supposed to be... It's weird because I believe rock and roll, what they're saying with this is like, oh, this is Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And rock and roll basically was pop before pop. So it should just be Music Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think the rock and roll is more like, oh, this was a rock star type, you know. It ties into the fame a bit deeper.
It's a tricky term, I feel like. I mean, I don't care for it. It's being called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Half of these niggas didn't do rock and roll at all. So the question is, do people care. The artists care. People want admiration. People want to be recognize. They want recognition. I mean, that's just a human thing.
They want to be remembered forever.
So
Right.
Yeah, I feel like these are all more like the outside is starting to give a fuck less and less about this type of shit. Like
I was gonna say, I don't think
as outsiders,
because there's so
Yeah.
many new.
I don't think they care, man. I couldn't tell you who's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, to be honest with you. I could give you a few names that just.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
that's what I'm saying. Everybody who's not in the business is starting to give a fuck
I
less.
personally
Right.
don't think this adds any more to your greatness in music because
It gives
once you've laid
yeah.
your legacy, it's there. Like it being in the Hall of Fame of rock and roll doesn't. It's just an extra little collection stamp. You know what I mean? It's not like.
But they be feeling like they have to have this to get that, to feel like they validated that much more, it seems like.
I mean, how would you feel if you got there? Like, damn, I made the Hall of
I
Fame.
mean, I'd be talking my shit probably, but at the end of the day, I mean, the people have already been impacted. You know what I mean? So
It was one awards where Drake went up there. I think it was one of the Grammys, Billboards. He was really just like, look, to all the kids out there making music, you don't even need one of these. All the love that you're getting is from your hood, from your community. That's your Grammy right there. He was like, fuck this Grammy. You already got it.
he snapped if he did that. That's
Nah, he said that. I don't know
Was that the one where they like cut him off?
I don't think they cut him off.
So
He
he'll
got
get,
cut off at some point. in
he'll
time
get a
recently,
little
I think.
respect from me if he did
No,
that.
he definitely did that.
I got a couple topics though. I want to try to just skip ahead while we on the music joint. Do we think J. Cole's gonna make it here? Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Nah.
Well, let's talk about the album, bro. I mean, and I was listening to the album. I'll let y'all kind of give your takes. I'm assuming everybody kind of peeped it. You know, when I first heard it, I was like, this is cool. But then, so I listened to it over and over. I'm like, this is a hard ass album. I was like, this album is
You
just,
wanted to just like, I want to just shit on it, but I can't because it's too good type shit.
I'm gonna be real. This is the best I've ever received a J. Cole album. I don't know if it's
Really?
where I'm at in my life and his messaging. You know, I feel like it kind of picks up where Nipsey left off a little bit. Obviously, different content,
in a
but
way, yeah, I can see that.
but I feel like that little line said it best. Like what we've been talking about on this podcast every fucking episode almost with music is niggas doing this shit to facilitate growth or for fame. And that was just like, damn, he said that right there. He didn't say it, but somebody said it. You know what I'm like?
You not heard that track before? That track came out like a year ago.
I know it sounded super
Decline.
old.
Yeah,
That was June.
The Climb Back. Yeah, that
in
came out.
June.
Yeah, it came out a
Yeah,
while.
I thought that was. I thought.
Yeah, years.
But I didn't pay
exaggeration,
attention to it. I didn't pay attention.
Nobody really did. It was 2 tracks he put out. That one, it was the other one.
That's not on the album. It was
the other was not on the album.
Lion something.
Lion, yeah.
Lion
Lion
King
on Ice
like-
or something.
Yeah, Lion King on Ice. Yeah.
The album to me grew though every time I listened to
Yeah.
it. Certain
Yeah.
songs, I feel like the samples.
Yep.
I love the samples on the album.
Mhm.
The samples, super soulful, but in a different way that he hasn't done it before.
Appreciate how he makes all his beats.
A different way that samples are even
Yeah.
being done.
It gives me slight Kanye vibes, early Kanye vibes,
Yeah.
but then I also get a slight like little Lupe feel, you know,
I
weird.
can see that. I
you
ain't
know?
think about it like that.
But
Yo,
he's like, well, what Lupe with somebody here? Oh, that's cool. Is the bro Chance here?
yeah.
Is he at the door?
Yeah, he at the door.
You trying to grab him real quick?
Okay.
Not like that though.
Yeah, we got a guest coming in. We'll transition him. But
No, yeah, the album was tight. What is it? 12 songs, I think. Yeah,
12 songs
tracks.
long.
I mean, I was trying to really figure out like what's the weak points on the shit, and I have like just little things that are critiques. But
What you got?
I mean, like on the first track with the Cameron talking, I didn't like.
Yeah, it was a little random.
I didn't really care for that. I didn't need the Lil Jon at the end, shit like that.
What's good, bro?
We
already on this joint.
I
Chance
didn't
York
need
in the
that little
building.
shit on there.
It's my guy
What's going on
Taurus,
with you, man? You good?
Matt the Problem,
Yes, bro.
Yes, sir.
Mo. We're gonna have you set up right there. Yup.
Okay.
For sure.
We just in on a J. Cole album right now. Did you peep it yet?
I listened to like the first couple of joints. I haven't.
Get
Had,
through it,
So
yeah.
you haven't even got through it yet.
No.
Okay.
yeah.
You wanna flick that switch back there, Mo? But yeah, so I don't know. What was your takes on it, man? You had any issues with it?
No, I didn't really have any issues with it. I liked it. I don't know if it's my favorite album of his, but it's up there though.
You said that, and it's like I don't think it's his best album, but like I said, I've received this album better than I've received any of his other albums, and I think it's just maturity at this moment. It's just hearing maturity in the music is dope right now. So
I mean, all of his albums are kind of like that, bro.
They are. No, they are. Maybe at certain times in my life, I'm like, I'm not trying to hear that shit right now, you know? But now I'm trying to hear that, you know what I'm saying?
This is way better than that motherfucking KOD shit.
KOD is, I don't like that album.
It wasn't bad. It was just kind of average.
I was not a fan of that one. 2014 is my favorite one, but
kind of average. Oh,
Forest
but
Hills Drive.
Yeah.
That was
cool.
the joint.
pull that mic closer to a little bit closer to you.
Yeah.
You in there? Mic check.
Mike, check.
I got you.
Yo.
Yeah, Forest Hills Drive was cool. Motherfucking.
For Your Eyes Only actually had a couple of songs on there for sure.
It's all solid. It's none of it's trash.
Yeah.
You know, even the KOD, I don't think it's
KOD, I'm gonna
trash.
say that's probably the worst to me.
yeah, no, that's his worst album.
I can't even remember what was on it. I don't listen to a lot of his shit, so I'm like
Yeah.
what's even on that one? I saw it live. I saw that he was on tour with. He had Jaden and Young Thug with them at the Target Center.
Really?
I was at that.
Oh yeah.
I
heard
think
about that.
the only thing that I associate with that project is he was beefing with Lil Pump at the time, and Lil what's his
The
name?
1985 song.
Yeah.
That's a
Lil,
problem,
what's his
bro.
names?
But what I listening to this album and then actually looking at the album cover, he's attacking a serious issue. You know, these little kids out here. Look at the cover. Pull up the cover.
KLD, the kid.
I almost looked at this album like a parody album to me. It was like a
No. Look up the KOD
This one?
cover
Oh,
real
the
quick.
KOD one.
KOD.
Yeah,
It was like a joke or something.
yeah, that one was
It's
weird.
not a joke. I mean, look at the album cover. That's
Kids
not
are all
no
fucked
joke.
up. Yeah,
Pop it up. Pull it up.
It's like a bunch of messed
But
up
I'm saying
kids.
he was like joking off,
Yeah.
like making fun of type shit.
I don't take it as it's to me. It's not a joke.
That's how I
To me, he's being serious. It's not like he's joking on
It's
other
reminding
rappers.
me of Lupe, what he was doing, what he does.
Okay.
This album was weird. I didn't like KOD.
It was
It reminded me of
Crybaby
one song.
type
I don't
shit.
even know one song that's on it. Like,
There's
what-
not.
Complaining, crybaby and shit.
He had ATM on there.
I don't be wanting to hear that shit. But
This is probably his most Lupe move ever.
so you agree
We're
with
talking
me?
about KOD.
The KOD, but I still feel like the fact that he did it, like he's touching a issue that is an issue in the games. Kids are being fucking not hypnotized or programmed, because you hate that fucking word, but influenced to think that lean is cool. You know what I'm saying? How many rappers are out here talking about, oh, I'm addicted to lean? Like that's just a bar now. You know what I'm saying?
I think my point with the KOD thing was that he's good at like sending those kind of messages, and this album just didn't do it to me.
What he did with
Like
this
he tried
album
to,
is
but
what
it
he's
just
supposed to do.
didn't like
Fuck
hit
this
like it was
shit.
supposed to, or like he can.
It just was mostly, you could tell it was obvious. People don't like the obvious joint. So.
on the nose. Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to touch on is, do we need a fucking J. Cole and 21 Savage duo album?
No.
I did hear. I heard that song.
I feel like 21, he brought out the best in him.
It's 21's year, bro.
I think 21. I've been a huge fan of his recent moves. Like he's maturing.
Yeah.
So he's gonna. I think he's setting the path for longevity in the rap game.
Yeah, I don't see any of these cats going anywhere. It's like they have like
Yeah.
a following that's
Yeah.
gonna like continue. Like the internet made these dudes iconic for probably a long time. Like their fans aren't going away.
Well, I think Lil Pump's shit's dying a little bit.
Yeah, I guess I was never following his shit.
But 20, he was a bigger artist than 21 for a second.
Yeah.
For a second.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was.
Yeah, that could be wrong. That could be
No, he had those things like it's like popularity is like whatever's like trending. It's like when we in a year you're gonna have like several people on top for their thing or their song or whatever.
Yeah.
J. Cole actually did an interview with the nigga and just made him look. Like
you talking
terrible.
about Lil Pump?
It was funny as hell. I feel like he did that on purpose. Like he interviewed him.
That was his way of.
Made him look.
That was a
stupid as
battle
fuck.
track. That was like the
It
new
kinda
age.
was.
It was a battle rap. I'm just interviewing you.
Right.
The nigga was on there, just couldn't respond. He couldn't answer the questions. He just was looking.
He said, I don't need to tell everybody. I'm just gonna have you show them.
Just show him. That was the best shit I ever seen in my life. I mean, come on.
But the track he did with 21 on this album, I feel like he brings the two songs that they have together are two of 21's best moments. I feel like in hip hop, like on a track, on wax. So I honestly wouldn't be mad if they did a collab album.
Yeah, you're right, but it's J. Cole. I mean, has he worked with a bigger artist than that? You know what I mean?
21 Savage?
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
I'm talking about a better artist than that, bro. J. Cole. J. Cole's up there for me.
He's worked with Travis Scott.
Okay, J. Cole's above Travis Scott to me.
As far as what, just rapping?
As far as like mogul, I would say like mogul wise, but Travis Scott is such a. He's an artist. He's like a pure artist.
I think he's the most influential artist,
but like
especially the kids right now.
But as like 21 Savage is rapping though, if someone's gonna if you have to keep up with somebody on a track, J. Cole's the one that he's worked with. That's, you know.
I see what you're saying.
I feel what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I could see them doing a project. I think that would. I
wouldn't be mad at it.
I wouldn't be. I would entertain that.
Yeah, I would listen to that.
Cole is slightly getting into his little baby bag too.
I can see them doing a motherfucking project. I like how they did that little song together.
But I would prefer 21. Overall, how are we feeling about the album?
Man, the album. I've been listening. I probably listened to it about 5 times.
I listened to it about 5-6 times too.
About that, and it's continuing to get better every time. I don't really have a lot of. There's definitely nothing I would take off. I couldn't find a song I would take off. I would probably mess with some of the stuff he did to the songs, but like I said on that first track with Cameron, I didn't need Cameron. I didn't need the Lil Jon stuff at the end.
Was Diddy doing a prayer on that? One of them tracks. There's a prayer at the end. And he was like, where he's talking about he got into his last fight he got into was with Puff.
Yeah, I heard that part.
Was Puff doing a prayer at the end, or was that Black or 6 Black or however the niggas?
I think it was Black, or his homie Boz or whatever that nigga's name.
It sounded like Puff. It sounded like Puff, anyways.
Boz is on like 4 or 5 tracks on the album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he must be singing, right? I don't know much about him.
He's his artist, and he got his own little solo shit. I'm not a big fan of it, but Cole rap him hard, so.
I fuck with everything he's
Cole's
doing.
got like JID and you know.
I think Ari Lennox is on this shit too.
Earth Gang,
Gang.
Did he sign Earth Gang?
I feel like it. I mean, what were those mixtapes that he was doing? The Revenge of the
Dreamers.
Yeah, I didn't hear any of it.
Dreamville. So he's got like, I know JID. Jid is like one of my favorite artists.
I know of him, but I haven't gotten to him, and I know people respect him.
Dude does just wild shit. I saw him at First Avenue too, and it was just, I was like, the future's in good hands.
So he's just spitting.
He's I don't know, like a lot of people compare him to like 3 Stacks, but also like Earth Gang too, because they can sing and they can rap like this soulful shit, and they're lyrical as fuck. So like you'll listen to it like 3 or 4 times and just be like, whoa.
See, I feel like he needs to get him out there though, because I'm not like.
He was popping like a couple years ago. You know, like I haven't seen.
I heard Jid or JID.
Yeah,
I was hearing him. Mm-hmm. So I guess he's doing a decent job of getting the name out there, but.
It was kind of comparing him as a little, Kendrick to a little bit.
That's what I was just gonna like naturally like,
Yeah. He got a song with Conway that's pretty tough. Conway and Ludacris and JID all on the track.
Oh, nice.
Luda.
Yeah.
I don't know if I feel like I need Luda on that track.
Luda did his thing.
I ain't mad. Yeah, I was gonna say Luda's
he still got them little bars and shit.
He can spit. Yeah. He's got that.
It's worth a check out. Check
the chip on the shoulder. But overall, 12 tracks, I loved it. I feel like it's definitely something that the game needs right now. It's definitely, I love how many people are receiving it. Sounds like people are listening to it. And I feel like it's something that needs to be heard. It's just a song like Pride is the Devil. Like, ain't no artist making no track like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's you only get your Kendricks, your J. Cole's.
I was just gonna say, I'm waiting for K-Dot, because
everybody.
That dude rules.
They need a collab album.
Yeah.
And everybody be
talking about it.
I think they're like they're too big of their own ecosystems.
Could they work together?
I mean, I hope so. I don't know like their personal relationship, but I think that's what it mostly comes down to. Otherwise, it's just like a lot of business.
They've done tracks.
Who's actually better of the two though? Have we figured that out?
I think K-Dot personally.
This is a conversation.
No. Well, it's who's better rapping K-Dot's better, but I think J. Cole's better at getting straight to the point.
Just making songs. Yeah, but that's also what he gets criticized for, is just being like spot on, like on the nose. Like it's just like obvious, you know, like where
Kendrick can also do that as well, though. See,
but J. Cole's
a lot of different shit.
J. Cole's on the production too, so
that's
it's
true.
like,
You know, so he makes his
he
own.
kind of chilled out on that as much as late, but he was earlier on. He was doing all the production. He kind of calmed. I think that's what helped him too, by bringing in other producers and shit. Like this album had all type of producers.
Okay, but I'm sure he had his hand on the production in some way.
Yeah,
you know what
he
I mean?
did.
So.
But he brought in a lot of people.
Say most rappers have some say in the production. You know, like once the main beat's put down, like once you rap on it, then like, you know, like put a little
touch it here, touch it there.
Yeah.
Where do we place J. Cole as far as importance in the, like amongst the most important artists in the game right now? Because this album's got me thinking that way, you know.
I'd say as far as like ecosystem, probably like top 10. You know, like as far as skill, like of people doing it right now, that's debatable.
I'm saying
depending
like
on what you like, but as far as like influence and stature, I'd say he's up there.
I think he might be more important to me, and this is just a personal thing. Obviously, Drake's the #1 name in hip hop. I think he's more important than Drake to music.
Well, Drake has the hits, but he doesn't have the message.
Yeah,
depends on what I'm saying. It depends on what you mean by important.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Kendrick and J. Cole will go down as more important artists than Drake. You know what I mean?
I think so, or I'd like to think so from just the type of music I like.
I think that's the Jay-Z issue. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got those people that love Nas. Like they love Nas because of the messages and shit Nas was giving. And Jay-Z was just like, oh, I'm that famous rapper nigga.
I'm rich. Like they made being rich and being a rapper like really the thing. They brought it to a new level.
Yeah, so
the CEO mogul, like they brought about a whole era of
people like Cole are probably more important as far as like society goes. But I mean, I think Drake's still more important musically.
And money wise, Drake is
in the game
Drake
and all
is
that
making
stuff.
money.
Like business wise?
And the style that he brought forth, the flows and all that. Like there wasn't really people doing singing and rapping until he started doing that much, you know. Kind of, but Kanye can't sing either.
Kanye and Andre were both doing it, I think.
You saying J. Cole can sing?
No, not that much. That's what I'm saying. J. Cole's more sore like.
I don't like when J. Cole be doing too much of that singing shit now.
That's why I said J. Cole and them are more like
styles though. Like J. Cole, he sounds new school. Like on this, the few songs that I listened to on this new record, I was like, he's flexing those styles that are like modern.
The thing that J. Cole is doing that Drake does a lot too is just showing like I can do any fucking style I want to. Right. Do we got an extra water or no?
Yeah.
You want a water?
Yes, please. Yeah, it'd be dope.
Yeah, and I feel like J. Cole really he did, and like you said, in comparison to Nipsey, he didn't waste no lines on the song.
Yeah.
He filled up the song to 4 minutes, however long the song is. He gave you everything he got, and he put it all out there. He didn't waste no time. No bars was wasted.
I feel like Nipsey was the most important rapper in the game when he died. And right before he died. And I think
as far as what he was saying and what he was doing, I would agree.
It's on Cole and it's on Kendrick right now.
Yeah.
Little man up there going crazy.
I think that's what they own. So,
but yeah, anything else to say about the album? I mean, our opinion don't really truly matter, but you know, we talking about it.
So all we do is talk about our opinions, nigga. Said our opinions don't
matter. We do, bro. I mean,
our shit matters, nigga. Fuck?
Well, I just needed to tee you off a little bit.
So fucking lives matter, nigga. Our opinions matter. All our shit matter, nigga.
Well,
but the album's tight.
With that said,
check that motherfucker out if you ain't checked it out.
Definitely replay.
Last music topic. It's not really a music topic. It's more of a pod topic. But we got to talk about the Joe Budden joint.
I don't even know. What's that? I was like,
so basically, Joe Budden's podcast broke up.
All right.
Rory and Mal. It looks like it's over business, over money, and it's becoming super public. You think it's fake? You think it's Love and Hip Hop 2.0?
Yeah, I'm not believing it.
I don't know. It's really detailed for it to be fake. I listened to the little $2 Rory and Mal pod that they did.
You paid the $2?
No, I caught it on YouTube. It got uploaded to YouTube.
Oh, it is.
And then
how long is that? Hours?
Cynthia, but did you pay the $2?
They made $14 off of it.
$2.
It's an hour long. I
saw some clips. Yeah.
Maul was acting heated. He was acting like he was like, But I don't know. I think Joe Budden does have some issues, and there's a lot of them where I think he just is like, I don't give a fuck about shit. This is all a show. Love and hip hop, So, nonetheless, he's good at keeping people interested in what the fuck he's got going on with the pod right now. But my bigger question was, and we touched on it in the group message, but business and friendships, how they work together. Is it something people need to stay away from more often than not? Obviously every situation is unique, but how do we avoid a situation like that where people start to not trust each other because of money? Is it just the natural way?
Listen, man, money and blood don't mix like two dicks and no bitch. Find yourself in serious shit.
Who's that, Biggie?
Biggie, Biggie. That's one of the 10
yeah.
Crack Commandments.
10 Crack Commandments.
Like,
I just don't think
Ramon's back
work.
there like a Biggie bar. He's like, well, there's a Pac bar better than that.
Don't sleep on Biggie, man. Come on, man.
No, of course not.
But man, I don't think I just feel like the friends and business shit is really not meant to be. And,
right.
I feel like it's a dangerous field to play in when you don't.
Even business and family.
I was just gonna say it depends on the business. Like that's the nature of it. It's like, what are y'all doing together, and what does that bring forth? Like that's. It really completely depends on like what is the situation, because
there's an element of fame in that scenario. So I think that element.
Show business is probably not the best business to do with family.
I think Joe being a former rapper, I think being a rapper, there's always some element of ego you have some amount of ego that has allowed you to even pursue rap. You know what I mean?
Successful pod show host too.
Yeah.
It's like I can do anything.
He thinks he's Howard Stern. He's mini Kanye right now.
Y'all work for me.
He's really a mini Kanye in the radio field right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm not watching. I'm not paying attention to none of this shit. I'm cool on it.
You want to step aside from Joe Budden himself, and you want to probably get to the meat of the issue.
Meat of the issue? What's the meat of the issue?
It's the business, the business and the friendship. So,
well, this is all fake shit that they do. I don't care what nobody says. All fake. They faking for the TV, faking for whatever they.
If you can get promotion off the drama,
get your $2 shit going. I don't believe.
I wonder if they can get those numbers out. Like, I wonder how many people paid $2 to watch their shit.
Sure, you can find it.
They might have made.
They got 100,000 people to watch it. That's 200,000.
That's fucking good. You can't even be mad at that, though. That's great. I mean,
I hope that I hope they made some money. I mean, it's all, everybody just go get your money. You know what I mean? Like, however you can do it, whatever.
It's kind of what it is too. If you're doing business with family, then like everybody's got to have like their lane, or like be making enough money.
I think
when somebody's like, I'm way more famous than you, y'all are just like workers, and I'm like the talent or whatever. That's show business and at its finest, which gets messy.
I think if people are going into entities together or building something together, then boundaries need to be like established very clearly. Conversations need to be had.
Paperwork.
Whether you want to go the paperwork route or not, because I can see myself like, I'll probably be the type that maybe gets fucked over in that scenario, because I'm like, okay, these are my guys. I wouldn't fuck them over, so I don't think they would fuck me over. But I think if conversations are had, then you can kind of hold somebody accountable to a certain degree, where you can turn up on a motherfucker if things are not going that way,
Oh, yeah, that's part of it. You need that respect there, where you can you can call each other out.
Discuss it.
You need full transparency in situations like that too, though.
So
can't be under the table type shit going on.
I'm just saying, it depends on the business too, because like when it's like when the business is generating all types of like capital, then it's like, whose money is this? And like if a business is growing, it really just depends on the business. Yeah. It's like, hey, you and me are gonna like each throw in like $2,000 and get this fucking pound of weed, and we're gonna, like whatever. It's like that shit's like basic. But if you're trying to build an empire over like 10, 15 years, different shit, building interest and whatnot. You want to know where that's going.
Yeah, and I think a lot of these issues are accounting issues right now. So
it's because people don't know that shit. It's like you can get money, but if you don't know money, you're gonna end up with no money. Like doesn't matter how much you get, you're always gonna end up with none. Like
bars.
That's
bars.
That's the game that people are not taught is what do you do when you have money.
Yeah, money is a crazy thing, and I probably took more time learning it over the last few years than I ever really have. And there's so many little nooks and crannies with the shit, you know what I'm saying?
Like, it is. The shit's not simple on purpose.
Once you learn it, though, you really start to look at it differently. Like, you look at money way differently, where you used to, like, worship it, like, damn near, where it's like, I got a stack, let me show this bitch on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just so everybody know I got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you used to look at it differently, but then once you learn it, like, oh, you can put it here, you can put it here, you can do this, you can do that, you're like, oh, it's not really shit. But it, it's just
I can't remember what YouTube it was or whatever, but it was a guy that was like, showing off his cash and showing off his jewelry and like his shit, and it's on a pool table, and it's like, then they like juxtaposed it with like a white guy doing it. He's like, here's my portfolio, like pulls out like a book, like flips it open. It's like, as you can see, I have the all this financial language, it's like, oh
facts. That's what it needs to be, to be real.
Exactly. Like the shit is like it's more than cash.
Let's start flexing with our portfolios, though.
So as you can see, I have the.
I challenge you niggas. If you want to flex on Instagram, flex with a portfolio. You know what I'm saying? I want to see how diversified you are.
They be flexing their crypto earnings and shit.
Exactly.
That's right. You see, somebody was calling it like earnings porn or some shit. Like
earning porn?
Earnings porn, like flashing your
I like that.
Your Robinhood account or some shit.
It's crazy how Robinhood just bounced back, huh?
Dude, I'm saying they probably have a short future.
Ain't nobody talking about this shit no more.
I'm saying
it's all good. I'm still getting ads for it. People still uploading it.
We're gonna see, man.
That was probably a good thing that happened, huh?
I'm saying we're gonna see, man. I don't know if Robinhood's good. Like, I don't know. I think in the future that shit still hasn't panned out. Like what's actually taking place.
I just feel like everybody was hating it, shitting on it, and nobody's shitting on it anymore. Everybody's just publicist. Like, I need to get Dogecoin real quick, So they're like,
we got Dogecoin. We got Doge over here.
If anything, it was an advertisement for them.
Yeah. Right. No, that's how. Have we already talked about this?
We talked about that, with the GameStop thing.
Oh, okay, so.
All this shit is on purpose. Everything that happens is on purpose. I swear to God.
No, I think you're right.
Everything.
We could transition right into Elon and Bitcoin. I guess we have to. Fuck.
Quick, you get upset about it.
Yeah, we'll just quickly. So, this is part of this actually makes me nervous even dealing with cryptocurrency, because you got Elon Musk over here talking about, we're not accepting Bitcoin, and I think it went down a little bit, whatever. But you just got too many people playing games with it right now. You know what I mean? And it just makes me be like, all right, I need to back up just for a second. Oh, what's his name came out? Edward Snowden? He did an article or released some press talking about the benefits were originally in the privacy of your purchases, and now basically that's not there anymore.
Well, because you don't even you buy a Bitcoin on Robinhood, you don't actually have the Bitcoin. They have the Bitcoin,
Robinhood.
And like you have access to the account, but it's theirs more or less. Like, dude, the shit right now with the Bitcoin, with all the markets just going red, like how there's a big sell-off going on. And I think it has to do with something bigger that's related to the GameStop thing. The GameStop thing isn't over yet. It hasn't been resolved. And like that is still coming down the pipeline, and what you see is a lot of legislation from the SEC to crack down on the shit that they're like, what is this? Like, have you covered? And basically 3 new rules have been introduced just this year since then by the SEC, and we're about to see this shit. Like,
so what's your theory? What could it be?
This theory, bro, you can go on YouTube. All right, man, I've been talking about this shit all week. So like, I'm like, oh man, don't go right there. All right, my theory is right now, the hedge funds that were involved in that GameStop thing are absolutely shitting their pants. I think there's a historic event about to take place in the market where they basically got caught fucking like the mega wealthy got caught doing their regular games, betting super hard against AMC to go out of business. So they like naked shorted, which is they'd make synthetic shares and like buy it to bet against the shit. And what happened was people on Reddit and the community of people caught them. Yep. And we're like, oh, there's how many of these out there? And you have how many of them? Like, wait a second. Like, let's buy all these shits. And they've been holding them. So they still have them in a even like tighter grip than before. So I think, and like all these catalysts that's just happened in the past week, I think we're gonna see some of the most ridiculous market action ever.
Like market action, like bad market action?
Depends on where you're invested. Yeah.
Right.
Like it could definitely could be compared to the 09 thing, but way bigger.
Wasn't expecting investment chance, York.
Dude, I'm saying, bro, like, like there's a whole, all right, so I feel like privy to this information, I was kind of like late on board to it. Like about a month ago, I started like catching wind of this thing where it's like, there's a lot of people that believe that AMC shit isn't over. I'm like, I didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
So, dude, GameStop is trading still at $150 a share, bro. It's like, dude, it's still like 20 times higher than it was at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And it hasn't gone anywhere. And it's not about to go anywhere besides up because they have to buy those shits back when they get margin calls.
So what is the future of these companies? Are they going out or are they staying in?
Yeah, no, they're absolutely fucked. But what it will also,
the future of GameStop.
Oh, GameStop, I don't think it matters as much as long as they don't go out of business for the whole fiscal year. The place that shorted them has to cover their bets.
So they just got to make a year.
So they just got to keep going. Well, the same thing with AMC, but AMC raised so much capital from retail investors that they're set for till like the end of 2020, 2022 and more.
Damn.
And dude, it's like, dude, the fucking CEO, Adam Aron is his name, and the dude knows what's going on. He's like, these retail investors are about to fuck Wall Street. Like, it's I'm excited about the shit, but it really is gonna be
well, motherfuckers better start doing their research.
Partially catastrophic.
$20 investments, Mo. You better start getting on them motherfuckers.
I made 2 cents last week.
2 cents?
Hey, killing the game.
I feel you.
So you've been out here doing hella research and shit.
Dude, all right, I'm saying, all right, just what happened on Friday, 3 different AMC hashtags were trending on Twitter. Everybody from Chance the Rapper knows this. Eddie Griffin, the fucking comedian, has bars, and like, dude, Robinhood is all caught up in it. Like, they almost broke the game. Like in January, the game almost broke. That's why they had to stop trading. That's why it wasn't like because Citadel or the hedge funds have like control over them. It's that just that nothing was in place for this shit.
Yeah.
And since then, 3 new pieces of rules from the SEC is to prepare for this shit.
They be having their hands in everything.
Dude, I'm saying the whole thing, like everything from the, like, I just watch like the YouTubers talk about it and just follow the hashtags because there's a huge community of people. Talk to my homie that does some day trading, and I was like, yo, like I was saying, I got wind of this like a month ago, and I was just like looking into it, and I'm like, well, if that's real, then like you'd be able to connect the dots over here. It's like, sure enough. And like now all the shit, like the headlines, it's like the market is biggest sell-off since 2008. Like haven't seen like a red day like this in 25 years. All this shit is happening because they're preparing for something that's never happened. And that's my prediction. This is not financial
me
advice.
Nervous up in here. Now I'm about to be watching all this fucking YouTube shit. Nah, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I'll send you some links.
No, you gotta send me some links.
$14 a share right now.
Dude, it is. But check it out. It was only $9 at the beginning of last week.
Now it's $14.
And like, there's hundreds of millions of dollars that the hedge funds are losing every day. Every day the price goes up. Every day the price is not 1 penny. They're like paying ridiculous amounts.
Damn.
Yeah.
Before we segue, I guess my original question is, how do we feel about Elon Musk doing that shit?
I think they're giving him too much credit. You know, like I do believe that people are like, oh, you know, they're just trying to keep faith and they're like panic selling and shit.
Yeah.
But I think it's not going anywhere. You know, like I think it's gonna dip, but it's gonna come back.
I feel like Elon's just, I don't know what he's doing, but I feel like himself he's playing games with the market because he knows he's got influence.
He might have influence.
Hey, mark that down. He said some shit.
Yeah, Elon Musk might have.
He said somebody might have influence.
I mean, they gonna be like, whatever that nigga say, that means we gotta go his route.
Everybody's on his dick right now, and to me, he's so annoying.
He's annoying.
I don't think I've ever listened to the dude talk.
I've listened to him talk once on Joe Rogan, and I'm like, dude, this dude is so fucking annoying when he talks. He thinks he's the fucking shit.
Some of my favorite teachers annoy the shit out of me, like listening to their voice. I'm like,
I
get an audio book. I'm like, but I love the content.
I feel you.
And then the nigga went on SNL,
like his content though. That's
watching those clips.
I didn't watch none of the Saturday Night Live.
Check it out.
Nobody?
Saturday Night Live. I only caught the
Elon Musk.
I caught I think it was just recent. They did Key and Peele was on there.
I saw that.
The MJ one. Yeah.
I saw that. I would try to watch it, but I couldn't.
What was Key and Peele?
They did a spoof for The Last Dance on SNL.
That actually sounds really funny.
I was just gonna say, like the last.
I like Key and Peele.
I gotta check it out.
That one was pretty funny.
Like Michael Jackson, is that the Last Dance?
Michael Jordan.
Oh, The Last Dance.
Yeah.
What was that
like,
one called? What was the
sense.
fucking Michael Jackson
This is it.
documentary?
This is it.
This is it. Look at Taurus. No, he like, hold up, nigga. I know
Shit,
exactly.
I know.
Are you a Mike Jackson?
Dude, I saw Mike Jackson live, bro. I went to
Did you?
the '88 Bad Tour, man.
Hold up. You went to a Michael Jackson live show?
In 1988.
You did?
Yes.
What the fuck?
That shit was crazy.
Bro, it's the best. It was fucking life changing.
He was here. What the
it
Excel or
was at the
something?
Met. Yeah, it was at the Met. It was where the Mall of America is now.
Yeah.
The old stadium. My parents took me. I was with my big brothers. I was with my cousin Sharon. I was like 5 years old. I just danced the whole time.
Was people fainting and shit, though?
Dude, it was.
You remember that shit too?
Dude, my parents bought me the DVD like for like the 25-year anniversary or whatever, and I watched the shit and I could remember like a bunch of the costumes and the guitar lady with the fucking boots and shit. Like I remember all these things. I didn't know Sheryl Crow was his backup singer, but I found that out when I watched the DVD. She's like Sheryl Crow is like. It's a great the DVD's great, but I remember that shit from being 5 years old. It was awesome. I always wanted to be one of the kids.
You're like,
and then I watched the fucking Neverland shit. I was like, I think I remember that kid. Come out and like bust a solo.
Touchy subject.
Bust a solo and shit.
Get me started on the Neverland. Damn.
He got the Mike Jack tattoo on his arm right now, so he's in there. I don't have any opinion on that, and I don't necessarily need to go there. But before we start talking about all this other shit, let's get into my man Chance York. You actually blessed us with the presents today. What's going on with you? What's new with you?
Man, all of it's new, bro. I got a newborn.
New baby. Congrats,
man. Newborn, man. Friggin' she's like 3 weeks old.
What'd you name her?
Winnie Henrietta.
So that's your third girl?
Yeah. Yep. It's wild.
You gonna keep going? You keep
trying to get that
maybe.
boy.
That's all you got is 3 girls?
Yeah, I think.
He said that's all
you got.
Well, I meant like, did he have a boy? That's what I meant.
Oh, yeah. Wifey wants another one. I'm cool with
She
that.
trying to keep going, huh?
Yeah, it worked out so well because we had the back-to-back girls. Like
now y'all got the age difference now.
So, like,
they grown. They helping out
and
now.
They are helping. Dude, I said that today. Literally, I was like, it's a different story. Like we got more teammates now than we did before.
You actually can back-to-back it now.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. Like they did so much for each other, like growing up and always being there for each other and stuff. That they entertain each other and shit. It's almost like.
So it's an 8-year and 9-year difference from the new baby.
Yep.
That's actually hella dope.
No, that's tight.
You gonna be leaving them babysitting and shit.
Yeah, no doubt. No, they're already like, she's already like, when Winnie's 8 years old, I'm gonna have my driver's license.
Yeah.
I was like, get it. I was like, get it, girl.
That's
like,
dope.
Drop her off at school.
So you got the kids.
Yeah.
Anything new with music?
Dude, oh man.
Crunchy Kid stuff? Nothing.
Crunchy Kids. We have EP that we finished with Medium Zach. I've been in touch talking to Medium Zach a lot more, but we don't know if we're gonna put it out because Crunchy Kids as a band are like, we're all over. Like Eric Mason's now a pilot. Like he's got his pilot's license.
Oh,
he's
for
trying
real?
to be a commercial airline pilot. And Eric Burton, the bassist, he was working at the Apple store in Uptown. And during the uprising and shit, people tried to burn it down a few times, so they just shut it down.
Yeah.
And he'd been there. He's kind of like, he'd been there for like 7 years. He was an Apple genius. Like he knew all the shit. And they're like, pick a place where do you want to go? He's like, Miami Beach. So we went and visited him in Miami Beach. Now he moved down there in January, bro. Apple like paid for all of his shit, shipped him down there. So
maybe no performances.
Yeah, not Crunchy Kids, but for a while. You know, Crunchy Kids played our last show in it's New Year's of maybe 2018. So it's been a while, but I've been doing a lot of stuff with Big Cats and like solo rap shit.
Yeah. What's going on? Yeah, I was gonna.
Dude, I did that. PBS came to my house and did that. What's it called? The Pandemic Performance, where I did a live of that shit. One of the songs called "Own Dope." And I was picked up by the Showtime show, and it was playing on The Shy.
Nice. Oh, you got on The Shy?
Yeah, so that was...
What season was that on?
Season 2. The one where Brandon and Lil Dude are eating tacos, like, after Lil Dude.
I didn't catch the second season.
Yeah. Anyways, it's, like, in the background. Like, you can't totally... Like, you have to turn it up to hear the song. But they played it twice in the background. The whole scene is my song playing in the back.
That's big time.
And then... and I just got news... So that was like a couple years ago, but I just got news that it's going on the soundtrack. So
nice.
I got another licensing.
Look at you.
Licensing joint.
Chance York in the.
And then I was talking to a fucking publicist in the UK that are talking about my Deep Dark Hope joint.
Dope.
Like, I might re-release it with some press package.
How do you feel about that? Because I've thought about like old music that I got, and I go back and listen to it.
Does it still speak? Is it still your message?
Right.
Because like we're as artists and people, we're always growing. So it's like, is it still saying what I want to say? Because that's really what it comes down to. You do want to travel around and tell this to crowds. Are you saying like the message that you want?
Right.
You'll say some of it probably. Do you look at it and be like, oh yeah, this is still cool.
No, I've thought about.
Not, right?
Well, you just know sometimes like. When you do music, like you usually once you get that song off and you put it out, you're usually over it, but because you've done listening to it 100 times, edited it, you know, you might get a few more plays out of it, or you're like, I'm feeling my joint, but then it's like you're kind of over it and you're on to the next, you know. So I definitely had super deep conversations with myself where it's like, all right, should I just like re-release some of this joint, you know what I mean, or push. I've had some of those conversations.
It all comes down to if it makes sense, man.
Yeah,
I haven't been making much music. I've been making hella other content, you know, like fucking wellness shit.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that, so I actually got some shit for you. I was gonna message you some of these things that I wanted to ask you, but I figured it'd be better if we just let this shit fly, you know.
Yeah, man.
So the last joint I seen was the Seeds of Success.
Yeah.
So you got the wellness journey. Explain what you're doing with that in general.
Yeah, bro. Give me a second. I got cotton mouth.
Think about it. Yeah.
Man, the wellness journey is just a step in my own healing. You know, like I was lucky enough to have, I don't know, like a interest in learning about like trauma and how to heal it, and like my relationship with myself. I've always been interested in it since I was young. I got into yoga, I got into like then got into music, and then like hit like the lowest point in my life, having some kids and just not like my lifestyle wasn't aligning with how I wanted to be, and just had to like fucking like really work on myself, and noticing how essential that was to my own development, and how much more necessary it is now than ever. I'm like, I just want to help people recognize that if you work inward, you're gonna find more satisfaction everywhere, not just inward, you know.
And so that journey kind of led you to, how'd that lead you to yoga?
I was 18. I just moved into the dorms at University of North Dakota. It's like I was going to college.
Been there.
It's a kind of a boring city, and I wasn't really into drinking, but I was selling weed in the dorms and just kicking it it was nice. Picking up all my textbooks and shit, and like there's a little stand at the checkout that's like blah 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 for dummies. It's like, you know, I got the yoga for Dummies pocket edition. It's like this big, you know. Yeah. And I was just thinking about it because there's a movie called Go, like back in the '90s, like late '90s, and it's just like about ecstasy. And there's a part where the dude's talking about tantra and being like, he's like telling like a sex story with his buddies, and he's like, you know, and then I was about to bust, but I didn't bust. I just had like a, you know, like an epiphany or whatever.
I've heard the word tantra like
maybe
a couple
so it's
times.
like tantra, baby. There's a scene in it that's like tantra, baby, and I was like, all right, so yoga makes you good in bed, and I was like a college freshman.
Oh shit!
I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see what's up with this, and I'm just kicking it in the dorms. You know, I'm just like, you know, throwing bags out. And and I just be kicking it in the dorm. So I'm like, I flip through this book, and I'm just like, all right, step one. I'm like, you know, like read like the first few pages, like it's a pocket book. So like the shit was really easy and quick to read. Yeah. And I just learned some poses and started breathing and shit, and like was like this. I feel good. I feel different. I can't explain it. I just feel like more here. Yeah. And so I knew it was dope. But I never had a teacher. I never had any like formal training besides literally that one book. But I knew a few things, and I would use them when I was like stressed or fucking like not like sore or stressed or whatever. And it wasn't until like, you know, probably 2016, beginning of 2016, I was doing a lot of music. There's just a lot of like drugs and alcohol, and I had these, you know, like had like home issues with like someone else's using and shit. So there's just it was a real low point in my life that I just had like more or less like just depression, or can't really put a title on it. I just didn't enjoy life. It's like none of this is bringing me any joy. Don't know what to do about it, and found a fucking book about yoga, and I was like, oh yeah, yoga's the shit. And there was like a guided meditation, and I started meditating. I meditated my way out of it, which is like, instead of just dwelling on the shit that you don't like, which is easy, like now I understand a lot more about neuroscience and stuff, but the doorway of me really getting a hold on like how to live like that, and like use these tools and shit to like, you know, really monitor and choose the course in my life. Man, it was life-changing. So then I meet a dude that's like, why the fuck aren't you teaching yoga, bro? Yeah. He's like, I own a studio, I'll train you, let's go. And that's a wrap.
I was showing up to them dude, yoga joints. I was consistent. In there. It was tough, bro. I'm gonna be real. That yoga shit is probably some of the toughest workout shit that I've done. Even now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, some of that shit's pretty tough.
I was gonna say, bro, it is. It's like it can advance into as tough as you want, but it can meet you wherever you're at.
Because you're dealing with pain too. Like you're also dealing with your own pain threshold.
You're dealing with discomfort, because I don't want anybody to feel pain in a class, but I want people to know right where the edge of your comfort zone is, and then you lean just a little bit to see what's there, and then you breathe and watch what happens. There should never be pain, but there's such a big gap between comfort and pain, and you want to be able to get used to being somewhere with a moderate amount of discomfort and having a steady mind or like technique through it.
I've actually took that from those classes, the breathing part of that, like I actually didn't forget that. So like when I'm doing any kind of like working out or exercising, and I know like I'm getting to that point where shit kind of sucks.
Yeah, and like you get tight, you feel sore,
just
all that
breathe
shit.
A little bit. Like the breathing help is crazy. If you're conscious of your breathing, like that shit is super useful.
Man, it's really the key, bro. I've been it's like moving along in the wellness journey. I've been really fortunate to be able to do this shit, because really, like I said, it's all just like, it's the same thing for me, where I started like trying to figure out how to make my own relationship with myself better. Yep. It's just turned into teaching too, because if I'm always getting to like be in that headspace and remember these techniques and study these techniques and practice these techniques and teach them, then it just makes me feel better. It actually works, you know, like just doing the shit.
So if we're looking at this as a program, what does your program consist of?
Yeah, man, the Seeds of Success, that was a good one to bring up. That was a recent idea I had from last month. We had the baby this month. What month is it?
It's May.
Okay, yeah. April 22nd, we had the baby. So early April, I did a course with a dude. He's an entrepreneur homie that I met through yoga. He used to come to my classes in Uptown, and we just stayed in touch on Facebook. And the dude lives in Thailand. He just balls out like super hard.
Yeah.
He's like had all types of different success, money wise, business wise. You know, just like he lives a really interesting life. And he was doing a thing on quarterly planning. You know, it was like a business thing to really get clear about what your next step in your business is.
Yep.
And it's like that same format where it's like, so it's just a 2-part series where it's like, first part, you're in a Zoom meeting. I'm like, you know, just going through some slides and giving like a lesson on a mindset or like a framework on how to apply some shit to your life. And then reflection questions are introduced through each step. And then you get to leave with that, and 2 days later come back and have a meetup where you just go over and discuss the shit that you found. So that's what that is, just 2-part thing. I think we had 30 people through it last time, and it was dope. You know, all different types of people from different continents and shit. It's pretty tight.
I think that just falls under the old J. Cole line. Facilitation of growth.
That's all I do, man.
I love that line, bro.
That's my life, man. I think, honestly, every area of my life, I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to radiate love and facilitate growth.
No, that's dope, man. I do want to ask, obviously, you kind of explained the story and how you got into yoga and how that kind of took you to your journey. And you've already made it basically clear your relationship with marijuana. Mm-hmm. How much has that relationship impacted your wellness journey?
That's a good question. Right now it's like weed is like the easy meditation. You know, like if you're in like a hurry and you don't have time to breathe for 10 minutes or whatever, you just smoke a little weed, and then you only have to breathe for like 1 minute. It's like, oh yeah. No, just kidding. There's Sadhguru. Sadhguru is a pretty dope like contemporary guru motherfucker. He like rides around the U.S. on his motorcycle. This old Indian guy, super cool, and he talks about weed just like any other plant medicine, where it's like it's good because it's meditative. It puts a little space between your regularly scheduled program and your ego. You know, it's just like, you separate, you get to step back and be like kind of seeing it from a different perspective. And I noticed that where you get into the mindset where you just get tunnel vision and one way of feeling, and then like a little weed, you just feel different, and then you can, you know, choose how you feel about it a little differently. But overall, it becomes an obstacle to reaching like that, the chemistry, like balanced chemistry. But he says the same shit about like garlic. So that's like the more sensitive you grow to different things, it's like you have to find your own relationship to it. So like right now I smoke weed occasionally. It's not like, you know, like one of my good friends, he said his dad always said, smoke the weed, don't let the weed smoke you. And it's like and I'm like, that's been my motto like since, you know, like I don't wake up and get high, because that's like there's a perceived, you know, at least my relationship with weed, I know that like, you know, I might get high, but sooner or later I'm gonna feel more tired or less energy than I once did. So like it's kind of a trade-off, and also in the long run, if you smoke too much, it's gonna be hard to just be happy.
I feel like it's definitely culture to abuse weed.
For sure, anything is overdone
like
these days.
I never really understood that, because I had my moment in time where I smoked weed. Like that was my thing for maybe a few months.
I think I remember that.
I smoked with you guys. I smoked with y'all, but that was my drinking and smoking a little bit phase.
Yeah.
But my smoking tendencies never changed. Whenever I smoked, it was always the same. But way before like even music and shit, like when I was maybe like 21, I was doing music, but it was like I wasn't anybody like to pop up in a conversation. But I smoked like a joint, and that joint, I wouldn't even smoke the whole joint. So I would make a joint usually last maybe 2-3 days, you know, and I was fine with that. But then I had, you know, D-Rider was my roommate, and he'll smoke a whole blunt, you know, like, and I'm just like,
it's like wifey, bro.
Are
I'm
you
like,
getting?
wow, why'd you smoke all that? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with my bag
like,
right now?
are you getting higher? You're not getting more elevated. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So I always never saw the point of it, like smoking a shit ton of weed.
Yeah,
because
I mean, I've like same. I used to like. There's been times in my life when I smoked way more weed and didn't get shit done. There's times in my life when I didn't smoke any weed, and like I'm pretty much fine with whatever. I think right now it's definitely been a phase. Like I've smoked more weed in the past 6 months than I did the 6 months before that, but that still is like an eighth in a month or something, like 2 months.
An eighth in a month?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like a hit. It's like a hit or two at the end of the day, and it's just like, you know, it's like a victory lap. And then you know what I do? I go and fucking breathe and stretch.
Nice.
Like,
so you got it down. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you probably carry maybe the stigma or the stereotype, you know, with the dreads.
Yeah, you must smoke a lot.
People
just
say
smoke
I
a
smoke
lot. They
yoga.
call me Crunchy Kid because I was baked for too long.
Nah. I got another good one for you, and you know, we'll pass it around, whatever. But I guess I was just curious: does God or religion play any role on what you're doing?
Yeah, well, I mean, those are two words with vastly
different.
Yeah, everybody's definition should be different. You know what I'm saying? Like God and religion should mean a different thing to every person.
Yeah.
And I think yes, in the terms of like God, the way that I've experienced it is like God is within you. It's within you and you and you, and we're all it. But like we're just, you know, kind of like a reflection of that thing in a different physical form. So like if consciousness is this thing and we're all tied together, like yoga really means putting stuff together instead of seeing it compartmentalized. That's what the mind or the ego does. It puts stuff into boxes that are easy to categorize. Are you left? Are you right? Are you red? Are you blue? You know, like all this, you know, and we have basically the whole story of our life put into these boxes. That is basically our preferences. So like I like this, I don't like this. This is me, this isn't me. And that limitation is, you know, kind of chopping God into pieces instead of being like, oh yeah, you know, like this good shit in my life, that's God. This bad shit in my life, that's God. Like this is that and that is this, you know, and it really kind of falls into a
so you don't have
Eastern,
like a
Eastern philosophy, but
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It sounds a little more Eastern.
Jesus was really speaking that Eastern philosophy shit though. Like when you think about it, you know, like the West was like pagan, and Jesus came back during this, you know, spiritual awakening time of the year when there was, you know, Buddhism and Confucianism and shit all taking place at the same time in the same areas of the world. He traveled, right? He came back with a much more clear picture of God, and that's what revolutionized, you know, that's why he was followed. And even like, you know, Jesus is the most quoted prophet in the Quran, but it has a long history of yoga too. Like he's a yoga teacher.
So they're talking about yoga?
Well, I'm saying it's not yoga by name, but all the principles are the same thing. It's like if there is one thing that ties us all together, it's like Jesus lives in our heart or whatever. You know, like you can quote the Bible and tell the exact same story that yoga's been telling. And yoga predates it by like 4,000 years. You know, like yoga has been around forever, and even then it was referred to as the ancient practice. And its roots can be in Africa or they could be in India, but India says they're from a foreign land. You know, like there's so much to it that like how can you summarize 4 or 5
So this shit
years?
gets deep. But for you specifically, so it doesn't sound like maybe you. I don't know what I was looking for with this question. This is just something that
I was gonna say, keep going. Yeah, man. I can keep on trying to define what I understand.
But for you personally, in your journey, what was God for you? Was it what you just said?
Yeah, I mean,
Was it always that?
That's a good question. I was like raised in the church, kind of Southern Baptist, but in Minnesota, mostly white folks.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, it was just part of everything. I memorized Bible verses, sang hymns and stuff, and then my grandpa is a pastor, a South black dude in Louisiana, but he was in St. Paul for a long time, and Rondo and shit. And God has always been like part of my life, but it was also like traumatizing as shit. There'd be like you know, if you don't get baptized, like you're gonna go to hell, you're gonna burn, like this shit and that shit, like Christians will be persecuted, and you're gonna have to do all this. And I'm like, this shit, you know, like baptize me now. I want to make sure I'm good,
right? And
then whatever, you know. But like
a lot of fear-based things.
Yeah. So overall, I believe just like anything, there's good and bad in all things, and I think most religions created by people have at least most of the divine message mixed with just some human bullshit in there to control the times, you know, like what makes it relevant to right now. Like
look at Matt. Matt's like bars.
Yeah.
Bars.
It's like how can you
Matt's
fit
loving
into
that
shit? Yeah.
Talk that shit.
No, so overall, like overall, God is everything.
I believe that.
Highly spiritual, but through just the lens of like, yo, everybody should have a unique relationship with God, and that might come through a lot of channels, bro. It might come from, like, you know, in yoga, or kind of the way that I teach it, I believe there's many doorways to the room of awareness. You know, like you can be fishing, or you can be doing yoga poses, and you can have a moment where you are in it, like where you look around and you are part of the same fucking world that's all around you. There's no separation. And like we all have those moments, and the practice is to have those moments more often, that it becomes, you know, normal, and like
get to the peaceful shit.
Yeah, and there's always going to be turbulence. It's always going to be a work in progress, but with good habits and just like, you know, practice, being in harmony, you notice shit moving. I notice patterns. I notice nature in people and in like, you know, the wild, and in, you know, systems and shit like that. And myself. That's really, it's all, Bruce Lee said, all types of knowledge are ultimately self-knowledge.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. It's the study of self. And when you study yourself long enough, you're going to find God. Because that's where you find it, you know, like that's where it is.
Connect. I'm liking this.
It's big time.
I'm liking what I'm getting.
This is what I do, bro. I'm like, I don't know, like.
No, that's why I always fucked with Chance. You know?
There's some other shit in the wellness game. I got.
The wellness game.
Yeah, no. So like some business shit. Like I'm in like. First off, when I got into meditating more, it was a book called Becoming Supernatural.
I got into a book just like that.
Dude, so it's like, it's all about your chemistry is the way you feel and think, and the story you tell yourself. And by practicing that, you can feel however you want, and then that becomes reality. You know, like it's waves coming from you. The world's coming from you more than it's coming at you.
Yeah.
So just thinking about what I wanted, what am I trying to do with my life and shit. I'm sitting there just meditating in my living room, breathing, feeling the shit. I'm like, wow, I'm getting distracted by all my basic shit, my self-limiting belief, or like, oh, that'll never happen because this and that, and last time you tried it, this and that, you know, like going through barriers of like just your own self-doubt to even be able to dream long enough about what it is that I want. So I was like, you know, living in an apartment, I'm like, I want to buy a house for my family. I'm like, I want to do a job that has something to do with education and teaching this shit. And, you know, I was like planning like a year or two in the future thing, and dude, like 2 weeks later, I was buying a house and created a job that didn't even exist before that. I got randomly hit up, like, you know, the universe is conspiring in your favor, and you just gotta forget about time. You know, like it could take 2 years, it could happen in 2 weeks as soon as you open yourself up to it.
So, I wanted to ask you, like, do you ever have difficulty meditating? Because
every day,
sometimes that shit is okay. Because I'm thinking a lot of times I'll sit and try to meditate, and it'd be like, man, all these dumbass fucking other thoughts is entering my damn
But you think what's gonna happen? That's it. I'm like, that's the practice, bro. Is you stop and you sit and listen to all your dumbass thoughts. You just let them. You just watch them go by and you let them go. And then another one comes and you let it go.
Yeah.
But there's so many techniques. So that's like, as a wellness coach, I work with people for 8 weeks at a time if they want like a deep dive into, getting to know how to like really look inward and like figure out like strategize some shit in the problems in their life or whatever. And when it comes to meditations, like you have to do it, but there's 10,000 million fucking ways to meditate. It doesn't have to be one way, but learning a few basic techniques and seeing what's the same about them, you can just create your own, because all it is about you spending time looking inward, like letting your shit digest. Like if we just keep on adding in stimulus, we're just adding in more and more and not ever processing it all. It's the same as stress. Like we're carrying around so much stress that doesn't get processed, and that's what's killing people is unresolved stress.
I'm a huge believer of that, by the way. I feel like I've brought that up on the pod. Stress
killing people.
That's why we've had a conversation, like I feel like men have to be more, we were talking about it last time, men have to, I think, maybe acknowledge their emotions more, because men are trained to.
Yeah, suppress.
And I think when you don't, we're trained to ignore them and just keep moving forward. That does create a buildup of stress. So I definitely am a believer in that. But so we just got a gang of info from you right there. I don't want to get. I'm not trying to get all the goods. I know people gotta come.
I do this
come
all
to
day, bro. There's no. It's a well, man. It's a well. It's a very deep well.
I want to get on something slightly off brand from that, but it's got something to do with yoga. And I caught myself a couple times in your class. It was a couple little females in there, whatever.
Suppressing. I can see where this is going.
There was women there.
Suppressing boners.
Women was there.
Okay.
But how? I mean, this is from my observing. I feel like hard-ons and farts are just a part of yoga.
Yeah. I don't know about hard-ons. I can definitely say farts. Everybody farts. Well, because I'm saying I'm not like checking to see if somebody's got a hard-on.
During yoga.
I've had a hard-on during yoga.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason. There's even, when I do like breath work, bro, I was like, I don't know if this is TMI, but I know y'all don't care.
It's fine.
Some of the meditation that I do is like with cold exposure. So I'll be in the shower with just freezing cold water.
Nice.
And when you first like start training like this, it feels like pain. Like cold water feels like pain. Yeah. And then you realize it's not pain. You're just used to associating this discomfort with what you don't want. So it feels like pain at first. You do it a few more times and you grow looser and looser, and you just keep on like letting it in deeper. Yeah. And so I've been doing cold exposure like that for a couple years, but when I was like really getting into it, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking be in this freezing cold shower and like get a boner. I was like, I'm gonna make it work.
And you figured it out.
Dude, and it was like 3/4, but it was okay.
That's what we call schmedium in the game. You know what I'm saying?
I was in the game. No, so yeah, cold, like the power, the mastery of the body definitely comes from just spending time looking inward too.
Yeah,
it's exactly that.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot.
Farts is like you're always releasing stress. You're releasing all the shit that you don't need in your body. So when you're doing like a stretch and there's like snaps and crackles and pops and stuff like that, you're like squeezing out lactic acid or like buildup and blockage from our diet or our sentient lifestyle or our like sedentary lifestyle. And
that's funny as fuck. I didn't even know that was a thing. I never heard.
And then if you're like, say you're in like a twist, you're like.
No, I definitely let some farts go in that bitch.
It has to, but that's also, you gotta get over not you don't gotta do anything, but like
that's a stress build up in that motherfucker if you're trying to hold that.
You gotta let it go, man. You gotta let it go, let it go.
You can't be holding that shit in.
Nah, dude, I'm saying.
Some of it, your body just. I remember Brian, Odie, he let off a loud one right next to him. And I was just like, he just laughing,
Dude, it's natural as hell, man. Dude, like, I don't know. I used to be like squeamish about like bodily shit. If I like looked at an anatomy book with like muscles and like tendons and shit, I'd be like, oh, you know, like I just didn't have a good relationship with my body where I like, you know, felt like I'd be like, oh, am I sick? You know, like, oh, what's this little pain? It's probably something big. You're like, oh, what's this? You know, like, and having just like a scary ass relationship with my body, and then like being able to learn how to like grow it and build it. I just feel differently about it, and therefore, you know, like I just understand bodies are bodies. I work with like, you know, women that are super like attractive, or I work with like, you know, old people, or like work with guys and shit who are even more like bodily conscious.
How often are people hooking up in yoga though?
I'd say decent. You know, it's like it's not a bad community to meet somebody.
Right.
Like, it's somebody really that's working on themselves and willing to be like kind of I'd say vulnerable in the fact that, like, you know, the hardest thing in yoga for me as a black man that's like, you know, hetero, it's like that shit is like there's a stigma where it's like it's feminine, it's girly, it's soft or whatever. The stigma's being broken, but I'm saying there is still a shitload. It's more stigmatized.
It's a woman-dominated thing in America, maybe.
Yeah, no, because. Dude, they didn't even let women practice like 150 years ago. And there's some shady, like the yoga history of it in a religious aspect too. There's shady history and shit. It's not like this pristine right way. It's whenever you get people involved with power and spirituality, some people try to exploit it. So it's not like I'm like, yeah, everything yoga is great, blah blah blah. Like I simply have my relationship with the practices that I learned. I don't feel entirely like I'm appropriating and just taking the parts. Like I try to understand and learn from people that are from there and everything. It's not like I'm trying to like whitewash it or whatever, Americanize it or westernize it, but I only can relate to it through my own experience.
Well, if you look at like the mainstream yoga in our country, it is a woman thing.
It's a fitness thing.
It's a fitness thing, but it's like you think of a women going to a yoga class.
Yeah, for sure.
Yoga with women.
Yeah. But
that's because they can sell the fucking pants and sell the fucking mat with the fancy
the yoga
strap.
pants going crazy,
dude. Yeah,
that's so that's part of it. So you got the yoga pants on the girls in the yoga. You know, some of them,
and like the poses are sexy, bro. Like it's like without a doubt, it's an attractive thing to look at. I'm like it's art, bro. It's like, you know, like I said, I'm not just like, oh, hot girls or whatever. Like I teach everybody. I teach old people, I teach little kids, but teaching people to get familiar with their body
so there's balance
is everything, because you can learn this shit when you're young and you can do it till you're old. There's not many things you can do like that actually make your situation
one
better.
Of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had to touch on that little. I just wanted to.
Said farts and boners. What do you do about it?
I just wanted to.
You got Moan back there. He's farts and boners. Moan's back there googling yoga classes right now.
Is he?
Dude, that's how I went today.
I know. Moan's a savage. He's like, look, I'm trying to break in.
Dude, I'm saying you could go in there, but then you might embarrass yourself, bro. Like that's the thing. It's like
shit on yourself. Not even fart.
So you might not even fart.
Have a diarrhea.
Hey. You have a blowout.
A blowout on there.
Moan probably feel like a pro because he probably got hundreds of hours logged in on the yoga porn though. The yoga porn's a huge.
It is. I've seen it.
That's a lane, bro.
I haven't even checked out the.
He said, "I've seen it. That's a huge lane, bro."
Well, dude, it's different. He's not like, you already know.
Moan's like, I already know how to do the poses.
He said, I know that one.
Moan's like, I could teach this shit right
yoga
now.
Babe 6.
Right.
He's like 20 minutes in.
He's like, I know what yoga is. All you do the downward dog, then you rip the pants.
He said, you put your mouth in there.
You don't even take the. You just.
They're doing that.
I know this one. This you breathe in and then you dive in, bro.
Breathe in. Nah, yoga porn's crazy though.
Let me ask you this question though. What would you say to somebody who's been, I don't know, on the edge about yoga, on the fence about it, maybe for reasons of they feel like it is girly or they feel like this doesn't sound exciting, I might be bored. Like, what would you say to that person who's thinking about it on the edge but it's like, I'm not really excited to go do it?
Yeah.
Does it sound fun?
No, I would say the biggest thing would be like, you don't gotta go to a class or some shit. It's like going to do it for an hour is a commitment. You might get bored. You might get overwhelmed. You might like some shit could happen. Like never knowing anything about yoga, never doing any yoga or anything. Like going to a class, that's a big social commitment because then you're in a room and you're like, fuck, now I'm stuck here. like I feel like I'm gonna shit myself.
That's a thing, bro.
I was like, that's really not that common, but your shit starts moving.
Yeah,
everything starts moving, and being new, all you need to do is fucking like grab a video, learn a fucking basic breath technique, learn a pose or two, find a tutorial video on YouTube, and just fucking do it. Like do it for 5 minutes at the beginning of the day, the end of the day. And the next day do it for 6 minutes, and just make a habit of doing it. And then when you need more, then you find a teacher, or if you're getting like,
if you try to take it to that next
feeling
level,
like it's not working or some shit. Like it's a personal relationship. Just because I tell people that all the time, it's like you don't need the fucking outfit and the gym bag with the water bottle filled and the fucking, like the way that they market it to you, and then you go to a place where they're burning fucking, like Palo Santo and like, sprinkling essential oils all over. It's like, it doesn't have to be any of that shit. All you have to do is look inward. And the reason why the breath is so important is because you have all these systems taking cues from the breath. You got your nervous system, your circulatory system, your endocrine system, like the way you feel, literally your emotions, have everything to do with the way you're breathing. So if you don't know how you're breathing and you're just slumped over and breathing hella shallow, that you're on that frequency. If you fucking sit up and you start breathing like you've been jogging around the block or some shit, you're gonna feel like you just jogged around the block, and you can't control your heartbeat, right? Like if somebody pulled a fucking pistol on you right now, your heartbeat would speed up. You wouldn't have any say. You wouldn't be able to slow it down right away either without mastering the breath, because the breath is your doorway into all your systems. So if you are able, and what you learn about breathing is like we're not good at it until we practice it. Like we've been practicing not practicing. Like even just like,
not practicing.
Yeah, like smoking cigarettes, bro. So many people smoke cigarettes. I smoked cigarettes for 20 years and realized that it wasn't about the cigarette. It's about breathing intentionally, and that's why people feel like they're calming down. People feel like they need a break. People do whatever. It's the only time in the day where they're actually thinking about how they're brearing.
That's a message.
That is a message.
Yeah, and I'm saying like I'm teaching, dude. Like I was saying, as far as like as far as the career of wellness goes, there's a need for it that's enormous, and I get to serve all types of people. I'm at the New Hope Y once a week teaching little kids in the after school program.
That's my old joint. That's my old gym.
Right, and I'm saying, and then the same day I'm at the North Community Y, and I go to 5. It'll be 7 different Y locations just to work with kids on teaching them mindfulness and meditation. And the shit it's wild because it's like a fucking like it's a bunch of kids and you're trying to tell them to chill. And like listen to your breath and shit, and these kids are from all different types of backgrounds and shit, so you don't necessarily know what kind of shit they're bringing with them or like what they actually feel like. So being able to like believe that I can harness that many different types of energies to get them like most of the group doing something that they experience it's fucking sweet, and I get paid pretty well to do that off of an initiative that the YMCA, they have a wellness movement, because they've always been kind of like a fitness community, but now it's like a holistic wellness community. And that led to some people seeing me doing their live stream, because for quarantine I was doing their live stream meditations, where it's just like, hey, check it out, we're gonna do this, just educate people on the neuroscience and the
honestly, I feel like this shit should be real education curriculum.
Like, I'm saying that's what I'm doing.
In the schools.
So that's what I'm doing. Like Mind Up is we partnered with the Goldie Hawn Foundation that has a curriculum called Mind Up, and I got trained by this cool ass brother named Dido Bala, and he's like a neuroscientist, cool ass brother, like explaining, like, how do you explain to kids how your fucking brain works? It's like you have this old part of your brain, your limbic system that's attached to your amygdala, and it's like your lizard brain. It's really close to your brain stem, and then you have like these fingers coming over, and this is like your prefrontal cortex, where your higher order functions, where your rationale and your logic and your good decision making and your empathy and stuff where it resides. And if you get fucking triggered, if you have trauma or whatever, then you flip your lid and you go back. You can't even process, you can't even reach those higher order levels of thinking, because the fear and the response shit, the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn responses, trigger and take away all the energy from actually thinking rationally about a situation.
So when motherfuckers are flipping out,
it's like I won't talk to you. I'm like, you talk to me when you put your lid back on. It's like you got to let people, like, you can't reason with a kid. You can't keep punishing a kid because they don't get it when they're dysregulated. Like when they're flipping their shit. And you'd be surprised, or maybe not, that like the educators don't fucking know how to deal with that and do the worst shit in response to it. And then you got two dysregulated people going back and forth, and that's what's wild. So like I teach a lot of like staff, and I teach a lot of educators. I teach a lot of business people, CEOs.
That's probably huge bags on all of that,
dude,
too.
It's the most valuable thing you can be teaching right now is teaching people to feel okay to learn about themselves. Because like our society had it fucked up. Like we've been keeping up with the Kardashians and shit, and nobody's paying attention to their own shit. So everybody's
They're paying attention to themselves in the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, comparison shit too. Where, dude, I'm reading this book. It's called Happy Sexy Millionaire, and the dude's talking about it. It's like we live in like the saddest era because motherfuckers are all comparing themselves. All the women are like, I want to be Kylie Jenner. And everybody, so everybody's...
They're being somebody else.
Exactly, and they feel the exact same way. They're like, I wish I was better, I want to be like that. It's a nonstop not enoughness. Cycle. And that's what capitalism is. It's trying to sell you some shit, spend some money you don't have on some shit you don't need to impress some people you don't care about.
Got me out here buying fucking $200 sweaters and shit. God damn. Fucking up.
I can justify $200 sweaters. That's not ridiculous.
That's not terrible. Nah. I will go no further.
Taurus fit looking better right now, isn't it?
Chilling, I just chilling. I don't do
Matt, too much. You got anything?
I guess talking about how like yoga and stuff is marketed. It's marketed a lot like all the pictures and everything are all like physically fit people.
Right.
As far as yoga goes, for people who don't know, is it something where you have to be more physically capable?
Dude, that's the best fucking question. No, absolutely not. But if say you go to Core Power and you step into the wrong fucking class, then it's like, fuck, you'll never want to do it again. And this is the thing about, like, when Gaines was coming to my classes, I just graduated yoga school. I had this practice space with my band, had a big gymnasium, and I just posted on Facebook. I'm like, hey, I'm a registered yoga teacher now. People are like, what? Like, come to my class. It was pretty cracking, like, week after week. And I went for, like, probably 2 years. But people would come, and I didn't have that, like, know-how as a teacher to meet everybody where they're at. Like, I was still basically, like, meeting myself where I was at. But I've learned, over years that I can I teach seniors, I teach little kids. It's like anybody can do this. It's just about being met where you're at with a teacher that understands how to make you feel that way. Because it's real easy to just be like, oh, I got to do all of these poses because you're saying it. Dude, I spend like minutes and reminders all the time, like, do whatever feels good. Like, I'm just making suggestions. You listen to your body. Your poses shouldn't look like anybody's poses. Like, pay attention to how it feels, not how it looks. Yeah. Because our ego is all it's doing is sneaking into every fucking breath, to every pose, to every thought. Like, we just get to hear the voice in our head, like, squirm.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is.
It's there. The ego do be there, because I was in there thinking, like, no, I got this motherfucker down right here. Like, no, I got this pose. Like, no, I can do this one.
Yeah, dude, I know.
It's there. You got better than that guy over there.
It's really crazy, man. Yeah, I love the shit, because it's just a ongoing, like, I keep feeling stronger, like, doing poses I've never been able to do, and, like, I'm getting older. I'm almost 40, but people are like, damn, like, I've run into people I went to high school with, and I'm like, you look 40, like, right. I don't.
You don't got the 40 vibes.
Yeah, well.
When you threw out the 88 Michael Jackson, I'm like,
right. I heard that too. I was like, you were born?
Everybody, bro, is like, wait a second, you did what?
Right. I'm like, hold up, nigga, how you do that?
Dude, I'm saying, I'm like, I got like a bunch of gray hair, but I got more gray hair than my dad, but that motherfucker looked young.
I got a homie with way more gray hair than you. He's younger than you, way younger than you.
So y'all just already got that young vibe off top.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my dad's always been kind of like forever young.
Yeah,
He's like 71 and just like, or he's 70 still, just like active. He's trying to walk on stilts the other day. I'm like, get down.
Get it.
I'm like,
Get it. You gotta let him get it. Get it. I guess we got a lot out of you. I don't want to keep pushing. I want to talk some shit now. We talked about a couple things. I think I want to just hit this last raunchy thing. This, it's like
one more raunchy thing.
It's like a 2-in-1. It's like a 2-for-1er.
Farts and boners.
I was having this conversation with Soy and Donnie last night, just randomly. Don't know how it popped up, but it popped up. I was the only sober one. And I'm really at this impasse, I think is the word I want to say, where I'm not sure what the right answer is.
That's good.
What is the technical definition of a threesome? Now this is super left field, but I need to get this one off so we've done a lot of growth. We did a lot of growth facilitation there for a second.
He said we facilitated some growth.
So now we gotta talk about, God is everything. The good, the bad. So let's get in this bag for a second.
Yes.
And I need some answers. Look at Ramon standing up.
He said, "Hold up."
So you gonna ask this question when I don't have a microphone?
Was it based off of like y'all was getting the train?
So this is what. So Donnie.
That's what it be. What's the train? What's the threesome?
I gotta call him out on this. Okay, so Donnie was saying, basically like. It's like, yeah, something, just in past, he was like, yeah, like me and my guy, this girl, we had a threesome. I'm like, bro, like,
a threesome.
I'm like, that's a train.
That's what I think.
I'm like, that's a train. Y'all
I was gonna say,
train.
Otherwise it would be,
okay, I get
a threesome would have more interaction between the guys.
Right, and so my natural definition came to me is that, to me, a threesome is all parties sexually participating with each other.
I think there's probably like you know how they like initial different like fetishes or whatever. I'm pretty sure there's probably a porn group of letters that means like guys that only bang the girl, or if they're banging each other,
right.
Then it's got a special initial. That's what it is.
And I'm not sure. Mo, any?
Are you a porn expert?
There's an episode. He was like, "Bro,
I watched
I watched a porno video with my girl while she was sleeping and didn't wake her up." Like,
he said I jerked it as quietly as I could.
Did you jerk it though? Yeah. Oh, okay. That was the.
I don't know. Do people just watch porn and not jerk it? That's not like my shit.
I think there are some people.
Yeah, I'm not into like just watching it for the sake of like watching it. Like, yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Just going through. There's nothing on Netflix. Fuck it, Pornhub.
Fuck it, this new one came out.
You might check out a couple of them to bookmark for later.
Look at it. He's like, I caught a few just to see what I want to catch later.
Of these for later on tonight or some shit.
I'm just cataloging.
Get 3 new ones.
You scouting. You just scouting
them up.
Scouting. No, so that was my natural conclusion, is that all party, and he's fighting me to the death on this. Like, no, like there's like a homophobic thing coming into play where you are afraid that you're being like considered gay or homosexual, calling it a threesome. You said what?
That's what I mean.
I'm not gonna be looking at another nigga's dick when I'm getting some pussy.
I can't think of what the movie is, but there was like a movie where it's like some old guys and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get this threesome, and I can't remember the actor's name. I think Adam Sandler was in it. But they're like, now we're gonna get this threesome, and it's just like the angle, like the guy who's like in the threesome, he's like just like laying right here, and the dude's fucking the girl above him, and it's like dripping on his face, and the dude's like sweating on him.
I know what you're talking about too.
And he's just like, this isn't cool. The guy's like square, was never down for the threesome in the first place, and the position is just like.
What movie is that, bro?
No, it was one of the Netflix ones that Adam Sandler did. It was a trash movie, but
it's gonna bother me.
Oh, I didn't check out none of them.
I've only seen one of them, and it wasn't the one I've seen.
It's one of the classic camera views that we using.
Like the way he's just like sweat dripping in his ass and
what
shit.
movie was that, bro?
I don't know if I know the. I don't know if I know the.
Was it that Pixels or whatever that was?
No, it's definitely not Pixels.
Got these lights in here.
Anywho,
Oh, these are porn lights, right?
so those were basically the, you know. So
I always thought
guess
about it as a 2 girls, 1 guy.
that's
but it's not always 2 girls.
But I was gonna say, isn't there a?
See, I guess I don't
Isn't
know.
there initials for that?
It could be 3,
Right,
3
MMF
girls.
or MFF.
Yeah.
3 girls,
But,
banging each other could be 3 guys. There's a threesome.
That's true.
It usually, but yeah, I'd say like if you were if there was like a standard, I'd say like if there's gonna be some guy on guy shit, they're gonna put some extra initials, so because that's that's not as mainstream
on the categorization.
You gotta put like bi in there or something.
Yeah, somehow. And I think that's what it just like from where society is right now.
Let's clarify this: is 2 guys not interacting with each other, banging a chick? Is that a threesome?
Both fucking her at the same time.
They're fucking her at the same time. One's getting head, one's.
Well, I was gonna say that's called like spit roasting, right?
or you know the old position. I don't know. You know the girl's in the middle and she's DP. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, is that a threesome or is that?
Yeah,
I always thought it was.
Yeah.
I always thought of a train as like it's got to be more than a couple people.
Couple guys just
it's got to be like
tagging in.
Right, it's got to be
more
than
a
2.
train.
It's got to be a legit train.
One nigga go.
You can't have a train with
just
an engine and a caboose. You know what I mean? You need the ones in between. You know?
I feel you.
He's a Tokyo train shit. Said you got the coal car.
So I feel like we don't have an answer here then.
I think it counts as a threesome. I don't think you.
I think it does too. Yeah.
I feel like if it's 3,
killing me.
I feel like if it's 3, it's a threesome. Anything above that's a train.
So as long as there's 3 people involved in the party, it's a threesome.
I mean, it's a threesome. I mean, it's kind of
3 people doing stuff.
Right.
Unless you get into some like cuckold pussy husband sits by where it's like, dude, what is there's so much weird shit in porn. I'm like, first off, why is it always the stepsister? Like, secondly, like, what's it like?
That's the latest. Like, I don't know.
It really got all fucking fetished up.
Step bro.
I'm like,
you don't even want to be looking.
I'm not even looking at the titles anymore because I'm like, nah, you know, it's not a stepsister. First off, and I'm just like looking at like, is this, you know, like if I'm scrolling. And like speaking of yoga and shit, like abstaining from porn, like my porn relationship has changed vastly, like from doing more yoga, because I understand like busting a nut is like a sacred. That's like a sacred expenditure.
Letting off too much of that.
Yeah, like
stepsister shit with Tiana.
He just said,
"Hey, you see the one?"
He said, "What you talking about?"
Where the stepsister stuck in the dryer. You remember that?
Folding clothes on the couch and they was on the floor just getting.
He's not even paying attention. He's trying to show us screenshots.
It's been a couple of motherfuckers that's been claiming like they've been having like porn addiction.
Yeah, tons of dude.
No,
yes. Oh yeah, bro. It's all.
I don't believe this shit. I don't believe it.
You said
I absolutely believe
Terry Crews.
Oh yeah, Terry Crews did.
A lot of celebrities I've seen claim to have it.
Yeah, no, I'd say for sure. Yeah, I'd say
Sex
for sure.
addiction,
Like
porn addiction.
I'd say at times in my life I had a
ruin
porn
your
addiction,
life,
but not like to the point where it's like that big of a problem. When I was like, man, I should probably stop doing this. Then I like really noticed and would notice like the voice in my head being like, yeah, you could still do it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore.
It's like there are some functional porn addicts. You know how you got the
I think that
crackheads.
I think I could be a functional porn addict.
It depends on what you mean by.
I don't really believe in that kind of stuff.
Depends on what you mean by addiction.
You don't believe it's the programming?
Yeah, addiction is programming.
I don't believe it.
Right, if you're talking about addiction like a chemical addiction, then
it is a chemical release.
I was gonna say it is very chemical. Dude, everything is chemical.
You got the chemicals comes out of you. You got the chemical.
You got the chemical.
But the porn is just a part of that to get to that, the chemical, right? Though, because it's not really necessarily a porn addiction. You're addicted to the.
Well, dude, the screens, the blue light, the fucking instant.
We all was really into it. We went crazy for it. We had our run with it. Was we addicted, or was we just?
Well, I'm saying if you were young again, I know I had a lot more urge or energy back when I was younger to just be like, oh shit, you know, like. Yeah.
Like when we was in high school and shit. I mean,
I'm saying that there's still kids. There's still kids in high school, right? Yeah. I think you brought this up in another podcast where it's like the kids these days are just like watching like hardcore porn, not understanding, like they're not getting any sex ed or anything. It's just like pull her hair, like smack her around a few times,
beat her
like
beat her to fuck.
Show, like shit, talk nasty and shit, and the girls are like, "What do I do again?" Like, okay, like fuck.
Just beat her up real quick. Did we just have sex?
And I'm saying, like, that's real. Like, that's a real thing. Like, you'd brought it up. I've read several studies on this shit. It's like it's a pretty big problem. Just like sex and violence is very
marriages too.
And it's just what do you call it? It's trendy. It's like, there's you got to be safe doing that shit. Like,
gotta protect your mind, man.
I'm just saying, you gotta have a safe word and shit. Like, motherfuckers get hurt.
I mean, porn can be safe.
Yeah, no doubt.
Of course,
porn is very safe.
It is safe.
I was gonna say porn. Doing some fuck shit.
Motherfuckers are sick off of it.
But some people, I'm done with porn.
No, let's talk about it.
We've already.
I said, nah. You seen the one though?
We've done it.
We need to talk about this when he's got a mic.
We've got our answer. So you
send you a couple links.
Hold on. You guys are in agreement with Donnie then on the threesome. You say it's a train, or where you at with it?
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a train.
It's not a threesome, right? Because the niggas ain't interacting with each other. Where you at, Mo?
It's a mini choo-choo.
It's a
mini choo-choo.
It's a mini
So
choo-choo.
it's not a threesome for you?
Nah.
Okay. I'm on that board too, but maybe it's an ego thing.
I think it all is. I think all of our preferences are ego.
I'm categorizing it, so there you go. Before we get off of that, I'm not doing a good job with the segues today, guys. But
Okay.
Everything's way out.
Anyways, fucking.
While we're on females, I just wanted to touch on the last thing. Like, been seeing a lot, and I don't know how I feel this, but I've thought about this since I brought it up in the group message, and maybe I'm just all wrong and off base. But been seeing a lot of females advertising while they're in relationships, so a lot of look back booty pics, a lot of
What you call a whore.
Thirst traps.
thirst traps.
Pussy all
Okay, so
out.
when I say advertising, I mean thirst traps.
Yeah.
Is it wrong for me to feel that I'm automatically off bat saying that person they're not into their relationship?
Clearly.
Maybe. Yeah, I was gonna say not necessarily, but yeah and no. Probably it depends on the case, because there's the whole thing where it's like if you meet the chick because she's wild, putting out like dope ass content like that, you can't just expect her to stop because you're with her.
Right.
But then again, if you're trying to, it's all. I think it comes down to the relationship. Like if that's explained, and like there's ego involved there too. Because if you're insecure, letting your chick feel sexy, if that's what she's done before, if that's what she's been doing before you and everything.
Right. Whereas,
what do we say about her ego?
Same. Exactly. But you can't. If you're in a relationship, you shouldn't try to be controlling the person. That's,
true.
A healthy relationship would be like you do you, and I like you doing you, and we're gonna do that thing at the same time. And if that doesn't work out, we go our separate ways. Like that's a responsible grown-up.
No, I feel that, but I had a conversation with my homie Anton, and he's got a couple daughters, and they're getting older, and he's had to go through the whole how to dress thing with the daughter, and my take on it is like, I think I'm gonna be a lot more, I don't know if conservative is the word, but like strict on dressing. But then I'm like, okay, well maybe it's more about educating her on just know what you're doing when you dress this way.
Empowerment.
And
know your worth, kind of.
And know how you're possibly being perceived. Mm-hmm. Think about how you perceive yourself, and But me personally, I still want to be like, nah. Because it'd be sometimes I'm driving down the street, I'll see something dressed a certain way, and I'll have to I'm getting into my mail bag where I'm just like, all right, what's going on here? I'm starting to figure out, I'm looking, and then I pull up close enough, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is a fucking kid. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, dude, I'm let down because for multiple reasons. I'm like, okay, I just look at a kid, and then it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this world? And I don't want nobody looking at my daughter that way, so it's my own ego and protectiveness or whatever.
We've all been there, by the way. Just so you know, everybody's done that.
Yeah, no, I know.
I was gonna say I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I think it all comes down to personal relationship with your kid and building that.
But can you trust? But away from the kid though, can you trust a woman though? Because I feel like that's hand in hand with the advertising on the social media. Can you trust a woman at that point?
I was gonna say if you tell her how it makes you feel and it's a way that inspires her to want to change, cool. And I think that conversation would need to be had. If she doesn't see anything wrong with it and you don't feel like having that conversation, then it's not gonna work out. That's like how I feel about it. Like I've been with my girl, you know, like she's cute and shit, but she's like shy. She doesn't just like throw like bikini pics up. But she like I'll throw like bikini pics up of her because she's fine, you know. But
if she did start doing it,
yeah, you know, I wouldn't. I'd be like, yo, what's going on? It's just her personality. I don't think that she should be like anybody else, you know. Like she's naturally just like not that out there.
Yeah,
like you said before too. I think it's if it's something that she did beforehand, you gotta expect it getting into that relationship. But I think if it's something that she starts doing in the middle of it, then there might be something going on where she's not getting what she needs from you, kind of thing.
Well, I think those tendencies should die out because I'm thinking that advertisement is to. You're obviously trying to catch something. You're trying to catch a fish. You advertise to catch the consumer. So
I mean, I was gonna say, but it could just be fucking likes and validation. Right. We do put a lot of that attention outward, and what the epidemic really is people not feeling like enough. So
turn that mic a little bit towards
people who don't feel like enough seek validation from all different types of unhealthy places, whether it's likes and shit or casual sex or whatever, or just like shopping or all that shit. We all go to the things to make us feel good about ourselves, especially when we're feeling low about something. So it's really just it's another symptom of the same thing. We live in this society where it's like comparison.
I think it's that more often than it is other things. So I don't think they're out there trying to catch one fish. They're out there trying to catch a bunch of likes. It's like
self-validation. And potentially just feel like good that they still could get that shit. And like, dude, men that like we do that. We post fly pics and shit. It's not like we're not showing. I hope no fly honeys look at this picture.
We're not showing.
Like they better not, you know.
Speedo pics.
Yeah, and that's true.
We're not doing dick prints.
I was like, well, you know, I'll put on some yoga pants and shit.
Shirt off pictures is mad corny for dudes. I feel like I've done it, but if you're on a beach, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be situational.
Hold up, y'all aren't doing that?
You just said, wait, y'all don't do that?
Likes are the most dangerous thing in this era.
Likes are the most dangerous thing in the era.
In the history. No, I think you're right though. It comes down to like communication, and a lot of times people just have these expectations that they just naturally come to a relationship with that you probably don't need to be having. I mean, I feel with the freaky pics, you know, if you wasn't doing that in your past and you just jump on and start doing it, it's gonna be a little bit of.
Okay, but what if it's happening before you get with the chick, right? And then obviously it naturally dies down a little bit because obviously she's